You know you can set your camera to stay where it is, right?
Yep.
Like in
I
white
actually
space.
have it right here.
Well, whenever you turn, it moves, unless I'm just imagining that.
Yeah, you're not imagining that. It's a bug in VR chat.
Oh, it's the sync thing. It's like it's parented to you, but it's calculating the new position every frame.
Yeah,
So
on
it's the
my
difference
screen
in
it's
like on
still
fixed, yeah, on fixed update versus on update.
something with their networking, I'm guessing.
I know. Now that I know what networking is like, I have a slightly more appreciation for it, but still.
Can you do me a favor? Can you try inviting BWA 1 and 2 to see if the invite plus functionality works?
Yeah. There we go. I cannot invite them.
You cannot invite them? Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, that's been broken in VR chat for a while too.
Lovely. What do we got online? Hmm.
If I get 7, I'll start inviting the other folks who are online. I'll keep my UI on while I talk, so I can see people trying to join if they request off of me.
Yeah, Rayori is very.
I'm streaming now
I
too.
like deleted it. Oh, okay.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I deleted it and then I re-imported it because I think there was a couple of scripts that like aren't in the new version as opposed to the old version, so they were like crossing references.
Oh,
And so I
I
deleted
see.
it and then re-imported it.
Okay.
And it fixed a lot of the problems. We still need to figure out how we're doing haptics because that's the one thing that like changed significantly.
I see.
But also the player doesn't work at all.
The simulator?
Well, no, the player, like our current like hierarchy of how the player works,
Yeah.
doesn't work. And I would
In
need to like
VR.
figure out how in VR and anything because it restructures the entire thing. In like the new
Oh
VRTK,
boy.
it's a list of rigs, and they're all underneath their own thing. And then there's a second list of like controller alias 1, controller alias 2, and like head controller alias, so it can tell like this thing needs to pop onto whatever hand it happens to spawn in.
Right.
So it's like independent. So
I think
yeah.
in that case, thanks for investigating that. I think in that case, we may have, it's possible another option is we go and uh, go up a layer instead of the trigger layer, or find another way to simulate the trigger somehow. Or we just go up a layer to have mouse click, time mouse click to selecting all the different interactions that we have. I hope I can get a chance to look into that tomorrow.
Well, it would need to be that when you enter in, like, how we would need to detect whether or not Steam VR is loaded, first of all, and then go into PD mode accordingly. If
Yeah,
we're not,
one
if we're
sec.
using the old. Okay.
I think Mika's trying to join on Quest. Jeez. Hey guys. Do you guys have Cloudy friended?
Who?
Cloudy Maya?
Cloudy.
Cloudy.
He's Mika, one of our speakers.
I do not.
I need to stay in this room. Can you friend him, Cloudy Maya? Cloudy Maya, the program, MAYA. Same word. It's the Steam one with 667C at the end. Can you go and join him and let him know that the presentation room does not work on Quest? Are you guys going to be using this avatar?
It's Cloudy Maya 667C, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I have a whole bunch of suit avatars.
Okay.
Here's another, although this is not very friendly to the graphics.
It's also broken.
Yeah. There's this one. Here's another suit one.
You use whatever you feel is.
Oh, this is for other people. I'm just been collecting avatars for other people. Here's for the females, I guess. It's not really suity, but...
I sent Mika an email.
Ta-da.
Nice. Thank you.
It's
So
fairly
many
visible.
weeb outfits.
I think this one is the one that Jeremy is content with. That's what I'm feeling.
That one? If the mouth moved, I would
Yeah.
have taken that one, actually. That's sort of the vibe I was going for. Alright, I'm gonna invite Sean. What time is it? 3 more minutes and then we'll invite everybody.
I have no idea if that syncs for new people. I think the world has been around long enough it does sync, but like slowly maybe.
Yeah. Why is Patrick by the portal?
My controller's dying. Give me a second.
Also, you don't go through a portal
Um,
as long as you're looking backwards.
Hey, I don't think Patrick's able to help us right now. Why would you mind going friending Cloudy Maya and joining him and telling him that he can't be on Quest? He'll need like a Rift or a Vive or because I need to sit here to remain the owner of the room.
I see Claudie Maya 667C.
Yeah, 667C. Yeah, he's Mika is his name. He's one of our speakers.
Oh, it does say quest. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so let's go to social. And he's going to be at the front. I'll throw up whenever he adds me. Didn't you tell him it was not going to be on quest before he went? I don't know.
There may have been some miscommunication. What happened to Patrick?
I think he's fixing his controller. I also sent Cloudy a friend request, but they haven't accepted it yet.
Okay, he's hopping around, so a couple of them are doing the tutorial now. Patrick's trying to come back.
"90 frames per second.
Oh,
The
and
internet's going
Fanny,
quickly,
so
guys."
I think VR chat invite system is broken. Can you try inviting some a friend like Patrick?
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey Sean, how's it going?
Good. Hey, Wyatt. Dude, that headset, huh? He's got a Pimax on in VR.
He does. I like the bow tie. That's my favorite touch.
I like the cat ears.
Yeah.
I see
I've
Patrick's
just-
back with an invisible avatar.
No, it's the Pikachu. It just didn't load it. Oh no, never mind. Now it's the
Oh, there it
Ghastly.
is.
Gengar. No.
Hunter.
Haunter.
Is there a way I can turn up volume?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is. Okay,
Settings, voices.
much better, much better.
Something tells me Mika's gonna have trouble coming. Because he hasn't responded.
No Temmie.
Email. Only quest.
I don't know. Temmie's okay actually. Temmie looks pretty nice.
Interesting.
As long as
I don't know
whenever you
any
talk,
of
it
these
doesn't-
characters.
As long as it doesn't like do the weird head thing whenever you talk.
I have to go to one of those worlds where they got all the avatars.
Mhm.
Talk to this guy. He knows where everything is.
Really?
I don't really know where everything is. I just found a random world with 9,000 avatars in it.
9,000 avatars.
That's a decent amount.
We only went
God.
through like a couple of them, and we got a couple for just like prefabs.
What the?
That's what full body tracking does. Because right now, this is where his legs are in real life. You can see.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you see the
Okay,
text
7.
still? Patrick, do you see the text?
Where? Yeah.
I'm emo.
Oh, okay. So it syncs to late joiners. That's nice. You're very glossy. Also,
I'm glossy.
I love the new console design. It's great.
You do.
I liked it.
Good.
Yeah. And
Nice.
I'm pretty sure the voice fix is just changing the fall off range of the voice, so it'll be louder.
You think? Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I was saying that test it because you can't. Yeah.
You can't test it alone. Yeah.
I have a hunch for the graveyard fix. It's kind of weird.
Which is just the other person's graveyard opening when you click your graveyard opening.
Yeah, I need to figure out exactly what triggers it because there's a lot of like spaghetti crisscrossing of the code in this particular area.
I think there's a more higher priority bug though, which is a little game breaking actually. If people are kind of mean. No, it's a lot more subtle than that. If you play a spell card on a monster and it flips over, then the opponent can switch position on it during your turn. Like a switch position sphere will show up on their monster if you play a spell on it during your turn. And then they can quickly
their
change
own
it to
monster?
attack mode. Yeah. On the opponent's monster, yeah. And then
Why
your
is that a
opponent could
thing?
switch. I don't know. That's why it's a bug.
I can't go through everyone's systems one by one and okay.
No, honestly, it was one of the newer ones that just came up.
Damn it.
The eraser is really bad. Like it's like not synced at all.
So if I wave it around, you don't see it sync? I erased everything on mine.
No, it doesn't like the eraser never erases where it actually is.
Ah, I see.
Jeremy, it's 7:04.
Yeah, I'm checking the Meetup page and emails and friend request lists. And unmute.
What the hell is that?
Please take one of these. There's like a
I'm here
wall
for-
right here.
I'm sorry, I'm
conference?
not
I think,
familiar with
No,
furry currency.
I'm sorry, we're out of admission right now. You're gonna have to wait at the line.
I think
Yeah, you
we can just
take
go
mine, but
ahead
I'm not very
to make
fond
things
of the
easy.
furry
I think we'll just do
convention.
the meetup here. We can have people stand here, and we can have the speaker back here, just so people like don't have to go out and find us. And let's
Is
start
there a way to
inviting.
turn down the music?
Yeah, go to your settings.
Oh, okay, you have to manually get. Okay.
All right, I see Evan's on
It's a
the.
big environment.
Yeah.
UI world. Okay, there we go. That's nice. I
So
like
this
it.
one fits
Also-
18 people. So we'll find out how if it gets laggy later. But it'll
Well, I
support
remember
Quest
that-
users.
The audio volume used to have a music tab, like a music audio level that
Yeah.
never worked because it was never on music.
It's
They
called
just changed it to world now.
yeah world.
Wait, I need to stand ready at the doorway like a. bodyguard.
Like a greeter.
You have to hold the door the entire time.
Yes.
You have to hold it open. Quick, close the door.
Yeah, I can't.
Let me see, what do we got? Spooky Ghost Boo, Spooky Ghost Boo, Black Cat. Acceptable avatars are green, black, fuck that.
Good day, good son, madame.
Nothing bad on the posters.
A password
Oh,
is
there's a toggle
required
music.
before you enter the premises.
Somebody's
There's a
requesting.
toggle.
Evan's
By
requesting.
the way, Jeremy,
Alright.
there's a toggle music button.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's local. But we can go
Yeah.
ahead and try.
But if people complain about it, you could just say toggle music
Toggle
button.
that. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I'll put the new camera here.
Here, I can. Camera. Your controller. Jeez, that took a long time. I can put my camera here to monitor.
I think I'm gonna stand in front of the podium actually, so people can get my feet body language.
But there's like
I
an
like this
actual
one.
stage over here.
Yeah, but I don't want people to have to find us. If we get a big
Oh.
enough group and we're all ready, like by 7:30, okay, yeah, that stage, yeah. We could all migrate as a big group, but I think when we're starting, we can stay here.
There you go. I have the.
All right, looks
I have
like
this monitor
Mika's
now.
here. Looks like my friends list is not updating.
I saw that one. It looks kinda cool.
Yeah, but I realize he only has 3 fingers. Like, why do I have an index controller if I'm only gonna have 3 fingers? I should have gone to an
Patrick's
avatar wall
mic has not been fixed from yesterday.
Ah,
B is me. Almost.
it's very effective at I'm a haunter. I'll make funny noises.
All these guys have black nail polish.
Oh, interesting. When I press the menu button, I see where the camera's pointing.
A favor for me, Patrick. When the talks start, could you mute yourself? It's fine during the networking sessions, but during the talks, I'll ask everybody to mute themselves too.
Oh my god,
And,
who is this Russian lady?
Okay,
Excuse
actually, I
me,
know how
ma'am.
to do that.
Who
Okay,
let
cool.
you in? This is a private function.
Ma'am,
I'll have to
You look
escort you
lost.
to the exit.
if you could just this way, ma'am, please.
Oh, okay.
This is a private function. I'm gonna have to escort you out the door this way.
But I have to use the
Um,
restroom.
Can one of you
There's a
guys
plant
try
outside.
inviting?
You can use.
I
Also, that'll be a
keep
$20
getting
entry fee
requests
for
to
stepping
join,
in for
and I
20
keep
Oh my
accepting
God,
and,
what the fuck?
and inviting them, but they don't come. And they keep sending me more
Excuse
requests.
me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. You're not allowed to be in the floor like that.
So how can we help?
Let's see.
What was their name again?
But you guys were able to join, so I don't think VR chat's broken there. I wonder if they just don't know how to accept an invite.
Okay, this one's pretty fuckable. Is this too big for something like this?
So Max Akal, Maxakal, can you guys friend him?
Max?
Same with. Yeah, he keeps sending me requests, and I don't think he knows how to accept them. After I've
It
invited
was
him.
kind of weird.
Max.
Took me a while to figure it out.
MAXKAL?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love how your avatar
Limba?
actually puts
Max?
a leg over.
KALM?
MAXAKAL.
He's the default avatar on the quest.
Welcome. Hello there.
Is that Max?
Hello.
Oh, hey, it's Mika. Welcome.
Micah. Yeah, hey, how you doing?
Micah.
Oh, nice.
Welcome, Micah.
Hey.
Just working on
Thanks.
inviting people. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
KAL.
Yeah.
Is he the 5503?
Is he? Is he the 5503? 5503, correct. And if you could like join him and just talk to him and teach him, like walk him through how to accept the invite. That
As
could
soon
be.
as he friends me.
Yeah.
If he accepts
I'll,
my friend request,
He
I can do
posted
it.
a meetup message too.
Get out. Oh. It's like, who's Get Out Design?
I was gonna come as Bartleby, but I realized that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Somebody just, somebody sent an invite to me, I accepted. Or, I think they're coming? I can't tell.
Yeah, I would jump over. Angelo's coming now. Great.
I don't. It seems that Mr. Maxwell has not accepted
Makes
my
no sense.
invite or
Okay.
friend request.
Just turning occasionally makes me walk forward while I'm turning.
Okay, that is okay.
His index
A little. I
controls are
think maybe you have the.
Since he was
maybe
able
an
to
inch or
friend
two
me, I
off
think
from
he'll
the proper
know.
height settings.
Why
Here.
would that be a difference?
Because I just noticed your feet are floating a little
You're
bit when you
two?
turn around. So maybe that's what's
I am
making you walk
VWA2,
forward a
yes.
little.
No, I
It's
meant like
floating a bit.
when I'm pressing left on the index, it will have me walk forward.
Oh, I think I might have to send my index in for an RMA.
Well, also,
Because I have drift. Like, watch, I'm not touching my controller anymore. I'm not touching anything.
oh great.
It
Also
drifts.
this, is it right controller touching the thumbstick, left controller touching the thumbstick.
Well, it doesn't do that when I touch the thumbsticks.
Well, my left, so it's getting the thumb input, like the touching, but my left one is not working. But just the touch.
Evan sent me a request, but he hasn't.
I thought Kevin was sick.
Evan,
What's your story?
Evan, our speaker. Evan.
Oh, Evan.
What?
What's your story?
Hey, is there any way to turn the music down? I can hear you better.
Yes.
I think there is.
Toggle this way.
If you go to...
No, it's over here.
The music
It's
toggle
over
is
here.
this way.
If
It's
you
right in
don't
the spawn.
want to do that, you can also go to your settings and turn down the world volume.
Let's see.
I turned the music off.
Okay.
There's a local
Alright.
music toggle right in the spawn.
Okay.
Right
I
here.
did not
Wow,
know.
this avatar is cool.
Dude, this avatar is like a transformer.
Yeah.
I can't invite people.
So
Yeah,
This
I
is
think
your
that invite plus feature is broken. I'm doing my best to invite everybody. Let me know if there's somebody who's trying to join you, but and I haven't friended them. So if anybody tries to request off you two, let me know with their names so I can invite them.
I haven't gotten anything.
Invite plus.
Yeah, I know
means they
Evan
have to
and
send
Max
I
are
see.
trying to join, and Ken too. I think both of them
I
are.
see Angelo on.
Yeah, Angelo
But he's
sent
like
me.
in a private world.
Yeah, Angelo
Very-
sent me something too. Yes?
Invite plus means that they have to send out the request and then we accept.
Oh, is that so?
That's how it works.
I wonder if should we do a friends world then? Then they can just join us. If the invite system's broke.
They would have to be your friend.
Yeah,
Friends
which
plus
they
would
are.
mean any of our friends could.
Is friends plus? Is that a good idea?
Friends is owner of the world's friends only.
Right. Right.
Friends Plus is everyone's in the world's friends.
Right. Let's try friends. Since the people who are trying to
Okay.
join are friends already.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right. All right. So I'm gonna go in first.
Go back in the desk. No, get in the desk.
This desk interacts weirdly.
It's because it's solid, and if you lean over it, it like freezes your character because that's how VR chat works.
Evan just asked me to join. I accepted.
Okay. Good. I've sent Evan some invites as well. There we go. Hey, Evan, welcome. So that leaves
Accepting the invite apparently sends me back here.
Yes, that seems to make sense.
Whoa, now I'm really short.
Hey, Micah.
It was like a rip off Sonic.
Yeah, right?
Alright, so Evan's here, Micah's here, I'm here, Aaron. I'm gonna shoot Aaron a quick email.
Oh, weird. I like froze for. Oh, Jesus, happening again. I'm getting this weird, like, fade crash.
It's weird because, like, if you have a small avatar, they scale the world up so everything's bigger.
Yeah, they shrink your height of the camera.
Yeah.
It's the scale of the camera, too.
Yeah, it's not just the height. It's bigger. Like, everyone else is bigger. Right?
That's a. Wow. Can't even get it to. There we go.
Can I climb this table? Damn it.
If you climb over it in real life.
Alright,
I
so
don't have a
somehow I
table
gotta
in
turn
real
off
life.
the world sound.
That only works if you have full body tracking.
If you want to turn off the music, it's right here. There's a button that you have to press.
Okay.
Oh.
And Patrick, you're still
Or
not
you can
friends
do
with
world settings.
oh, here's Angelo. Hey, Angelo.
I'm not friends
Um,
with Max or
Max
whatever.
and Ken.
Nope.
There's a Ken F.
I know I can't
Sound.
reach it.
Welcome.
Oh, that's thank you.
Jeez, your
So that only turned
voice
off
is
music
just
for me?
Yes, that is correct.
getting worse almost.
Okay. Interesting.
You sound like a backtrack to a horror game.
Yes, yes, he does. Patrick, can you mute when you're not
Which is
talking,
kind of
please?
appropriate.
Or like do a push to talk thing, thanks.
That's kind of hard for VR.
Let's see.
How did you turn off the music?
You can come over
there's
here.
the lobby.
Right there.
It's so much better without the music.
Cool.
I like the music.
Yeah.
Just gonna stand in the corner.
Well, I think, like, I shouldn't be able to move with my left
Cool.
hand.
So we're just waiting for folks to join.
I'm very
Are you a
clearly-
righty or a lefty?
Let's see. I guess I'll introduce the speakers first. Oh, I'm getting an invite. Why is he requesting
Press
so?
back. If you press back on your right clearly moves backwards.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
And it's
That's a
completely
bug.
random. It just at random intervals I'll move backwards.
It's better than this drifting. Oh, I get it a little bit forward too. It's mostly just backwards.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send in my controllers for an RMA, but I'm waiting until they're more available. By the way, if you own index controllers,
Angelo
you get
and
Half-Life 3 for free.
Micah, do you guys know each other? So Angelo is the founder of Indie Game Devs Meetup, and Micah runs SFVR in San Francisco.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have
I
ever
don't
gone to
think
each other's
so.
meetups. Yeah.
Why is
Angelo does the
Cowboy
meetup
inviting me
like
to the
in
great-
Game Devs in South Bay, and then Micah does a lot in SF.
Jeremy,
Evan,
Oh, yeah.
would you like to tell us where you're from?
We're out of Los Angeles.
Yep.
And still on the West Coast, just a little bit farther south.
Yeah.
So, I can't see your avatar, right?
You cannot see my avatar? Oh.
Well, you're just a robot.
I see.
So I guess it's not Oculus Quest compatible.
Quest
But I
compatible.
do see a picture. I don't think your avatar is Quest compatible, but I do see an icon on your shirt which indicates what your avatar might look like. If
I see.
I
I
could
see.
see it.
Does it have black hair? Like a human?
Yeah, and
Okay.
yep, human with a blue jacket.
Yes, that is me.
That's the
Yeah.
photo on your shirt.
Yeah, trying to figure out
even
how to
think about
because we've actually have at least two to three Quest users asking to join. So trying to figure out how to better support Quest. In an ideal situation, we would have our own platform that's just designed for Quest and everybody else. Because VRChat Quest support is still a little janky. Although you guys have seen the cable, right? The optic
link,
cable,
yeah.
the link cable. Yeah.
I was
Super cool.
playing on Stormland the other day. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh,
Using the
using the
link-
cable.
Cable with a Quest?
Yeah.
So how did you get a cable?
It's just a normal USB-C to USB 3.0, and then I just have a USB extension. They both have to be 3.0 though. It needs enough bandwidth.
Is there
But
any?
It doesn't have to be the official link cable.
No, it doesn't. It just
Oh,
it just
that's
needs enough
interesting.
bandwidth. You can get them on. If they linked one online that was by Anchor, I think it's like $10 on Amazon.
Wow.
But the thing is, theirs is 5 meters.
Hey, you
It's,
made it.
I guess harder to do.
Finally, I'm here.
Where it's just
Welcome.
the non-official ones are much shorter.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi guys.
Trying to work on getting a
Hello.
few more folks in.
Max, if you want to turn off the music, come over here.
How's the latency? Any like a quality?
It worked well.
It worked well. Like just like.
I think it seemed pretty seamless. The headset frequency or like the screen's not as good as like the Vive or Index, but it works well. It seems pretty seamless.
Nice.
And
nice.
Stormlands is a heavy game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that's impressive.
Cool. Cool.
And
Has
just
anyone
going off of
tried
USB was
Oculus
pretty
Link?
crazy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Has anyone tried Oculus Link?
What's that?
Yeah, I was doing it the other
No,
day.
we were just talking about
Oh, the cable.
Latest update.
Yeah,
Evan has.
I've tried
Evan
it.
from
I've
Castle
tried it.
Steps. Oh, and Micah from SFVR
Yeah.
and WebXR.
Yeah.
What's your
I
experience?
started doing it with VR or with
or
Oculus.
with the cable.
Oculus Link particularly.
Yeah, Oculus.
So yeah, the cable. So I was at Oculus Connect 6, and I tried it with actually it was a new game. I'd have to look at my notes to see which game it was. But what I noticed was they didn't have like an like what they should have done is let us try it like the Oculus Link next to the Oculus Rift.
Mm-hmm.
So
Really compare it.
we
yeah.
could sort of get an idea of how the game looks different depending on whether you have a Rift or a Quest.
Yeah.
But I played Stormland.
Oh, Stormland too.
With Oculus Link on the Oculus Quest. and it was amazing because it was like real desktop VR to me.
Wow.
It was really Stormland is a very detailed, big open world, right? With robots, and you can shoot the Tempest robots, and a cool looking game.
Welcome back.
And but it's got so much detail. It doesn't look like something you would see on the Quest, which is, the visuals can sometimes be pretty scaled down.
Nice.
Not in terms of how much detail there is, how many,
Yeah, no, Mike.
how much shading is happening.
Yeah, and Micah runs the Oculus Quest meetup from SFER. I think you do it every 2-ish, 3-ish weeks, every month-ish.
So we had one, and I was planning to do it like every single month, but I've been busy. I've been sidetracked with some other things. I'm gonna do more though. I want to do them like at least once a month because a lot of people were signing up to attend, even without me promoting it.
Yeah, the last one I went to was.
It's just an
Oh, go ahead.
But you know what I like what you're doing here with running a meetup in like VR chat. That's a good idea.
This is this is our first meetup in VR. VR chat being like the longest platform for multiplayer and chatting, decided to use this. So a lot of like the logistics, like inviting people and stuff like that. Yeah, working through all the kinks. And so really appreciate everybody sort of being here in the first of it.
Well, I think what I would want to add is like slides, so we could show people slides and videos while we're talking about something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible in VR chat yet, but that would be neat.
So, yes, with some work. So
make like a custom room.
Yeah, exactly. Make a custom room and pre-update the slides before the meetup. It'd be hard to do it live, I think. And you can also have a video player to show videos and stuff too.
Twitch streams.
Yeah, and Twitch streams. Yeah, and streams.
You could Twitch stream.
Or if we could, even if we could put a website, if you could put it like a web browser, you could go to a presentation that's on a website.
I don't think there's a web browser.
What about big screen beta?
What's that?
It's basically just streaming your computer screen to a room of up to, I think, 16 people. And it's similar to this where there's a bunch of different environments and everybody can project their own computer screen if they wanted. Like you can take turns projecting to the monitor.
Only 4 people can do that. If it's a room of 4 people, if you go to 5 people, they can't stream.
Okay, well, the people who are in charge of it can run it.
I'm not familiar with Big Stream Beta, but actually to that idea, because VR chat can let you watch streams like YouTube or Twitch, you can have somebody do a desktop screen share of this PowerPoint slides, of the videos, of whatever data and other documents you want to show, and just be able to view it through stream. So your slides to stream to VR chat video player that way. So actually that is possible. I hadn't thought about that. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm gonna see if I can help any more people invite. You guys are welcome to introduce yourselves. I think we got a pretty big variety of folks coming from all over the place, from Texas, from SF, from LA. Yeah, I know everybody here already. So, yeah, if you guys want to intro.
So,
nice. Oh, New Jersey.
Did you say we can do a Twitch stream and we can? So we would broadcast our computer via Twitch into VR chat.
You want to use slides today for your talk?
No, we don't have to. It's not. Okay. It's not. But I mean, next time.
I think next time. Yeah, I think next time it would be easy to get a room that has a player for that. Yes. I think we can also
with a Twitch stream, and then you send your slides to the person controlling the Twitch stream. You can't like send it directly to the stream.
Or he would stream the slide. He would do the slides, control the slides. He would do the stream, and then we would just grab wherever he's streaming to, Twitch or whatever. In fact, during the networking breakout after the talks, you could do it.
Stream Twitch thing.
Let me talk.
I mean, it's fine. We'll do it. We'll do that next time if you want.
Yeah.
Friend KenF.sound, I think he's.
And I think it might be worth looking into big screen beta. I think that's a lot easier to share monitor screens in general.
Dot is the punctuation symbol.
This might reach a capacity issue.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good issue to have, but yeah.
I mean, if we had this many people in big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, only one person would be able to control the main screen.
Wait, I thought you said 4 people could.
If you have
Max.
more than 4 people, it goes down to
Hey,
one
Jamie,
person
how are you
can
doing?
control the main
Good. How are you doing?
Gotcha.
Have we met
Gotcha.
before in real life?
Yeah. I believe it was the first arcade conference.
Oh. What company are you from?
VR Park.
Oh, cool. Wow, thanks for coming.
VR
Thanks for attending.
Park.
Did you want to tell them what VR Park is?
IMAC or no?
Sure. Before that, I'm still trying to figure out how to turn the music off.
Oh, over here.
Over here.
It's so
right here.
funny.
But should I change my
The
position?
music in this place.
Yeah, you're gonna have to walk over through the doors.
It's
If you
in
walk over to
controlled in the
here.
room, in the lobby, or in
Yeah,
that
it's
little
right here.
door hallway.
There's a
I
toggle
was
music
checking
This
button.
one.
Just click that.
Yeah, I was checking settings.
That's okay. It's right over here.
Okay.
Toggle music.
Oh, finally. Okay. Someone suggested to turn off the music when I came in, but I was believing it was my background music. That's why I turned to my son. Yeah. Anyway, we are good now.
Awesome. I'm actually curious to hear how VR Park is doing.
All right. So, we are developing motion simulators. We have some 2-seaters, 3-seaters. Our final new product is Santa Sleigh. Is there a way to open a web page here?
Not
Or,
today. Not today. At the next
Oh,
meetup,
okay.
we'll try to figure out a way to do that through streaming.
All right. Yeah. We work with some retailers, and we develop bespoke entertainment solutions for them. And on the other hand, we are also dealing with operation. We are still operating several locations.
Oh, you're operating
in the
locations.
Yeah.
Nice.
We are in shopping malls, as you can guess.
I know Evan from
Yes.
Castle Steps Games has LBE Zombie Shooter. They're a content development. Actually, I'll let you explain it, Evan.
Mhm.
Yeah, we make multiplayer games mostly designed for free roam, but for VR, mostly for location-based entertainment. So we have partners now all over. We just license our content monthly.
Cool.
Yeah, they have a
How's it
location.
going so far?
Or what was that?
I think Max asked.
How's the game? Yeah.
I mean, it's good.
closing?
It's like 15. It's called LA Dead Zone. It's about 15 minutes long and up to 4 players, and it's a zombie survival experience. We have a second one as well called Mission Critical, which is more sci-fi themed, and that one's about 20 minutes.
Cool.
Cool. I think yeah, it's past 7:30 now. Max was able to come in. I'll ask Patrick and Fanny to continue like trying to friend kenf.sound, and if you're able to, I'm still sending him invites. And if you want to see if you could like join him and then talk him through how to get over. But I think we can go
He's
ahead.
in a private world.
Yeah, you're friended with him then? Can you request invite just so you can like talk to him? Thanks, Patrick. But I think we'll go ahead and just get started with the talks. Up to you guys. We can either like sort of stay here, and then when new people come in, things like that, or there's a stage over there. I don't know what you guys prefer.
I think maybe just that room is a little bigger and meant for it.
Okay. So we can go over by the stage there then? The stage over here? Maybe?
Yeah.
I'll set up the camera first.
bad.
I was wondering what that was.
Cool. I'll set my camera so I can see the audience too.
That would be Fanny blocking my camera at the front desk then.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody, thanks a lot. Welcome to our first meetup in VR. If you're having trouble hearing me, feel free to come a little closer. Sort of based on distance here. So yeah, thanks a lot for coming. This is totally experimental. The idea sort of came when we wanted to hold more business meetups and business conferences eventually. But it's kind of hard to scale. It's as the meetup organizers here, Angelo and Micah know, it takes some planning, it takes a few weeks of preparation, and then people having to drive through rush hour and all those other considerations of like real life elements. So, but the idea of wanting to do more meetups so we can kind of connect with more people, and for us, we're ourselves a content development studio, so being able to meet with potential clients, potential customers, and partners is very important for us. So that's sort of where the idea of holding this meetup and eventually maybe even a conference in VR came from, just because people don't have to travel, don't have costs, and things like that. So I'll start my talk just by sort of explaining who we are. I think most of us here know who I am, but let's see. Sorry, I am going to invite this person. Okay. So I'm Jeremy. I'm the CEO of Virtual World Arcade and director of the VR Arcade Conference and our meetups here in South Bay, San Jose, California. And thanks everybody for coming from all over the country over here. As a content development studio, we primarily as of today, focus on enterprise contracts. And I think within the audience, we have meetup organizers, we have content development studios, we have developers, we have LBE platform providers, operators, artists. And so I'll sort of gauge my talk towards that. We started off, as some of you guys might know, in the LBE space, in the VR LBE content development space. We focused only on developing content, 4-player arena scale, team building social content for LBE. So LBE is location-based entertainment, VR arcades and VR theme parks, sort of what we heard earlier. And we quickly found out, for us at least, for our experience, I'm curious to hear the other folks in the room, it's a difficult market. VR already is a small market, and for us, it didn't seem like there was a lot of money as a developer for specifically only LBE. So we sort of did some research as to why that might be, and over the years we've gotten more data from analysts in the field studying the VR arcade market. And data that we've gathered from our own VR Arcade conference. I think as of 2018, about 13,000 VR Arcades LBE centers opened or exist. And then there is about a 10% closure rate every year annually. And most of the VR Arcades that close within a single year of them opening. And from what we've been studying, a lot of it is due to our belief is that most of the people who go in trying to open and operate, like the entrepreneurs who try to operate a VR arcade, may not precisely have retail, entertainment, location, business experience. And I believe a lot of that is what causes a lot of the closures. However, the success cases like 2-Bit Circus in LA, I think Evan and Sean are familiar with that location. Very successful, but it's run by Brent Bushnell, who's the son of Nolan Bushnell, who's the founder of Atari and Chuck E. Cheese. So they know how to run an LBE. It's 1/3 restaurant, 1/3 bar, 1/6 like traditional arcade, with a screen, like a 2D screen kind of game, and then 1/6, maybe a little bit more than 1/6 VR games. And all the VR games that they run are like 4-player team building, arena scale, like things like that. and those guys are doing well. Like on a Tuesday night, you'll see them completely packed full. They do a bunch of events, and those guys are doing well because they have the expertise on how to run a retail location, entertainment location. But because of that, as a developer, for us taking a step back, we realized a lot of the people in the States, at least, didn't have that expertise. So it would be difficult to only focus on sort of that revenue stream, licensing from LBE locations. So then after that, we looked into Steam, as many of you guys have shipped games or helped ship games on Steam, to find out what that market is like. And that's a little better. If you, the research we did, if you get like a top 10 game, you're gonna make in the first year like over 10K per month. So if you take, say, like 15K, right? What we found is if you take the same game on Steam that gives you 15K revenue a month, and then you go and license it to VR arcades, LBE centers, you get 10% of that revenue from LBE versus in Steam. So if I'm making 15K a month on Steam from Steam sales, I'm making $1,500 from total VR arcade licensing. Now that's not to say it's not it's not worth it, because there's marketing, there's feedback, there's people using it, especially for multiplayer games. There's value in having multiplayer users, concurrent users on your platform all the time. But that's what the hey, how's it going? That's sort of what the revenue numbers look like. So we looked at that, and then after that we transitioned into, but that still wasn't like a sustainable model for us. We're a team of 5. We work with several developers remotely, and we expand and contract as needed. And we started looking towards enterprise contracts, enterprise businesses that aren't necessarily VR businesses, but they have some niche use case, some niche problem to solve, and they can use VR as a tool to solve them. And that's sort of where we came in, and we went and serviced those enterprise contracts, and created a VR CPR certification training program, fire safety training, active shooter training for this company that normally does corporate employee training for big companies like Shell and Apple and ExxonMobil, and they'll fly firefighters and experts out to do these, but that's very expensive. That's not really scalable. It's limited by the number of experienced personnel you have on your team. With VR, they could just send out the headsets and have them shipped back. So that worked really well for their niche model. We've done a time travel educational experience for Pacific Science Center in Seattle. We've done a cybersecurity game that's meant to educate people about cybersecurity threats, but also essentially advertise the products. We built in the products as like weapons in this wave shooter game, and teaches the people about that cybersecurity company's products. So, and then currently we're working on a therapy. Like a therapy session, VR therapy session, these researchers and scientists to help use VR therapy to treat depression, anxiety, PTSD in the long run. And another contract for a local fitness center that wants to develop a VR fitness curriculum. So we found that there are these niche companies with these niche use cases and problems that can be solved with VR as a tool, and that sort of over our past 4-year journey is sort of what we've arrived at as sort of the sustainable model to continue being VR developers and continue being a VR studio. And then sort of with the revenue that we get from these contracts, we're able to go and continue pursuing our passion projects and the games that we want to make, and the other types of fun research things that we want to do with VR. That's sort of how we arrived here. I'm going to switch gears a little bit towards the end of my talk. I don't know how much time I got left, but to the virtual conference. So as a studio, we found out that we get the most contracts and enterprise clients and things like that from these conferences. But there was no way for us. So we host the annual VR Arcade conference. Some of you guys met us there, and so that. But there's no way, say, like I could hold 4 VR arcade conferences in a single year. That'd be really hard. but so then we thought, okay, well, what is a solution that could allow us to say hold 4 conferences a year and meet a bunch of these potential business partners and develop these business relationships, but also providing value to every other business attendee, like we have been with our own conferences, connecting hardware people with content developers, with distributors, with investors, with media, and things like that, and with locations. So that's sort of how this idea came to fruition, and what we're hoping to do over the next few months is, this is our first meetup in VR. We hope to do a second one soon, and taking the learnings we take from this and do a better, sort of more organized, and sort of figure out what all the problem and pain points are. We're going to be sending out a survey, and we'd love to get your feedback after the meetup on things that we think could be improved for the future. And eventually, our plan is in 2020 to release our own platform that's designed for business meetups, business conferences, with things like virtual business cards. Today we each sort of put our name and then plus our company name ish sort of in our usernames in VR chat. But wouldn't it be nice if you could actually have the badges that you have when you go to conferences and expos? Wouldn't it be great if there could be since it's all digital, have a digital system that matches you, matches you to business people who have the business opportunities you're seeking and are able to provide you or to accept or to take what you're offering and be customers and partners with each other. So that's sort of what we're thinking about over the next few months, and really appreciate you guys again coming to the first meetup. What's my time right now? What time is it?
7:50.
50? Okay. I'll maybe spend like 5 minutes ish on Q&A, because I'm sort of past my time now. Any questions? Yeah, Sean.
So this platform that you're developing for the game dev meetups type situation.
Yeah.
What other applications do you think it could have other than just game dev meeting? Is there any other niches it might fill?
Absolutely. So for starters, we're thinking the first few sort of application scenarios would be VR developer meetups, right? Because VR developers have VR headsets and they're familiar with these games and using Steam and things like that. And then a VR conference, because everybody there who goes to the VR conference has a VR headset and knows how to work with this technology. That could be very confusing to use. However, when we can use those sort of intermediate meetups and conferences to prove the value, the business value, the number of business leads you're able to get, the amount of projects or clients or deals you're able to make out of these conferences. Once we sort of prove the value, we want to expand this out to essentially every other enterprise business sector. If you imagine, every major enterprise vertical has some giant conference, some giant expo, whether it's oil and gas industry, whether it's fashion, whether it's cars, auto, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's education and science, whether it's a climate change, whether it's politics conference. There's this model of a conference to connect people together has been proven over again to provide business value and help people get things done, get work done. And when people are able to get work done, that's money, that's business value. So if we believe that when the value is there, right, when I don't have to spend $1,000 to fly over to the other side of the world, when I don't have to spend another $500 on staying at hotels, when I don't have to be away from work and not be able to do work and not have my computer and all the people that I work with at my office, when we're able to prove that business value, I think even just today, right? Like we have Evan from LA, we have Max from New Jersey, and Sean from Texas coming over. This would have taken more time to plan if we wanted the same people, but all to come into San Jose, I think. So as we prove that, I believe that there is a lot of potential in every other enterprise business. And the exciting thing is enterprise if we think about technology and the rise of new technologies like smartphones, like the internet, it starts with like military and government use cases, and then it goes to enterprise, and that's really where all the money is, and that's when pulling all the money from the enterprise to feed a development of demos, right? With all the content developers out there, I could imagine, okay, a bunch of these, Coca-Cola wants a Coca-Cola VR advertising experience. They're going to hire VR developers. That's going to bring money into the VR industry. They're going to, Alex Kipman, inventor of and head of HoloLens at Microsoft, spoke at our conference at VRK conference this April. If he's coming to speak, I don't think he's going to be using some VR chat avatar. He's going to want a special art avatar, and they're going to employ artists who specialize in avatars for business use. So I believe that this will bring in people from the enterprise and money from the enterprise and put it into the VR industry, developers and artists. That's sort of what makes me excited about this. Yeah, thanks for the question. That was a long answer. Yeah. Okay. I think Fanny's telling me to wrap up. So our next speaker is Evan from Castle Steps Games. Well, thank you. I'm gonna head down.
Ooh, there should be a clapping noise that we
Yes.
can do.
Clap.
Bang your controllers together. Hey guys, I'm Evan.
Evan.
We started Castle Steps about 3 years ago when the HTC Vive came out. We started in the consumer market, making games for Steam. We made a horror game called The Bellows, and then a multiplayer competitive game called Krieg. And what we found is that we didn't find much success. We got a lot of users for the horror game, but that came out soon it was kind of right when the headset came out, so we got users. There's a lot of hype at the very beginning, then it kind of died off. And the multiplayer games are definitely harder because for a thriving multiplayer game, you need a lot of active users, and VR being such a niche platform, it's hard to get those users. But people thought the game was fun, and from there we ended up getting into the location-based entertainment side. Similar to what Jeremy was saying before, we found it was a better idea than the home market because you can build shorter experiences and they provide more value, where people at home are wanting much longer and more in-depth experiences, where for the location-based side, people are saying we want it shorter, we want it easier to use, less mechanics. So from a development standpoint, it was less work to make something more polished that was actually more well received. And then from a licensing perspective, what we do now is charge monthly rather than it being a one-off purchase. You get a customer, and then their recurring revenue and usually they stick with the games for a while. So you want to build up multiple people. But as Jeremy said too, there's a lot of struggle in this LBE space as well. A lot of people are failing mostly because they don't know how to run a location-based entertainment business. They think, oh, I just buy some headsets, get some games, and run in location, but it is much more difficult than that. I'm running something in this location-based entertainment space is pretty hard. You're competing against all forms of entertainment, going to the movies, going to an escape room, a mini golf, or whatever's in your town. And people need to educate people on VR where it's still a niche space, and convincing someone to come and try VR is definitely a marketing challenge that many people aren't up to. But there are a few that are succeeding and doing well. 2-Bit Circus being one that's very well funded. I think they have millions of venture funding. But there are smaller scale ones that are still being successful. We have a partner in the Huntington Beach area who's runs one of the most popular escape rooms in LA, and now he's also doing a VR business as well. I think the escape room business model is very similar to the location-based entertainment for VR business model of having single-off experiences that a group of people come in to play. How many people operate their arcades right now is more of like a net cafe model, where you come in, book some time, and play a game, which works well, but you're more selling VR as a technology, which doesn't really have lasting value. Where the growing potential, I think, is in selling content as an experience that a group of people can do together. This is similar to some of the bigger players, such as The Void or Dreamscape or Sandbox, where they're having the main purpose is multiplayer and having people have a shared social experience. And we see that's where the most value is in the location-based entertainment side. So that's where we're focusing our content now, into multiplayer free roam experiences. So we have 2 games. First is LA Dead Zone. It's a 4-player zombie shooter. Because it's free roam, the minimum play space is 15 by 15, but the benefit is you could have all 4 players in that space. So for a key factor for when people are running location-based entertainment is like cost per square foot. So how much money can they make per square footage? And like how much revenue per hour. So that's where the shorter experiences make more sense because it can get a higher throughput rate. And that's why we've heard from multiple of the successful people are saying they want their content 15 minutes long. Right here, the less successful people, oh, we want an hour of content, but you don't get the throughput to have the economics make sense when the experiences are that long. So we're focusing on the shorter end, multiplayer and free roam, where you could have multiple people in the same space. And we're licensing on other platforms. The main 2 are Springboard and Synthesis, where their main model is it's a per minute licensing, so it's based on like the usage of the game, which it works well from an arcade perspective, but from our standpoint, we weren't really making much money. So now we're doing $100 a month per user. So a single arcade could be like, if they have 4 players, $400 a month. And a lot of people use 3 because it's just on the wireless adapters for the HTC Vive is a popular solution. So we're getting like 300 to 400 per customer. And we're in places such as the Surreal Park in China. We have a place in Canada. We have places in the US and Huntington Beach. So yeah, that's what we do. Anybody have any questions?
Oh, thank you.
Well, I had one.
Yeah.
So, who are you using, or how are you getting the arcades to pay for the monthly fee? If you're not, is that still Springboard or the other things, and it's just not a per minute thing anymore? Like,
Steam has monthly, which we're on, but we just do direct licensing. We have our back end is called Fastspring. It's like a software as a service company where the benefit of them is they're considered the reseller. They take like 8%, which is cheaper than everybody else. Like if you're going with a big like dedicated platform, but for tax purposes, they sell it and pass it through to you, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's why we chose it. As we scale up, we'll probably go with something like Stripe, Stripe to do the back end for the licensing, but that just more logistics.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Just to confirm, you don't do per minute, right? It's per headset.
We do have it on our zombie game on both Synthesis and Springboard, but it was more of an experiment just to see what we could get, and it's much more financially for us to do it monthly.
Okay, I would like to know
it is an
your
option for people.
Okay, may I get your feedback about Springboard and Synthesis? What do you think about those softwares?
As an arcade owner, they're great. They make I think running your arcade is almost necessary to have them. As a developer, it's necessary to get unless you have the contacts to get into the arcades, it's where Steam is. They're the gateway to your customers. So they have value there, but it's going directly to your customers. You'll always make more money.
Right.
But yeah, they're great platforms, and I recommend them both from both the developer or arcade side. Angela?
Thank you.
How many? How many people are on your team? Like, how many devs do you have?
We're really small. It's just 2 of us, me and my brother right now.
Oh,
and
nice.
We don't make a lot of money, but it's enough because we're so small.
That's cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, in terms of for your development studio, in terms of a long-term business model, what are some of the constraints or some of the things you have to do to keep that monthly revenue going? Do you have to release new games? Do you have to release updates? Do you have to acquire new customers at a certain rate? Like, what is that sort of the work that you have to do to keep the monthly revenue going? What's that work like?
We're recently switching on to it. Our plan is to release new content. So it's make it more of like a subscription bundle. So you pay 1 monthly rate and you'll get all the content, and then you just kind of stick with us to get the future content is our idea. But it's if you have like a competitive multiplayer game, I think that scales well for just updating it. Because then the main thing is like replayability. Is like if you have a story-based experiences, their customers can't retry that, where they have to get new customers, being from the arcade side. But if you have like a competitive game, it has an inherent replayability, which is definitely more valuable, but it's harder to achieve a good multiplayer competitive game. But if you had something like that, I would say updating it would be more your idea, and then for story-based content is where we're more focused on now, is to make new content.
A follow-up for the hardware, what type of do you guys just sell the games, or do you guys sell the games and like a 3-player hardware package too? What hardware do you use?
We sell just the content.
Okay.
There's definitely more value, I would say, in selling a hardware package. You see people like Hollowgate who bundle some games and their headsets and truss in a nice package, and then they sell it for $100K, and they've sold 300 of them so far. So they're definitely doing really well. They're focusing more on the established entertainment centers, which a lot of people, whereas there's a lot of money as well, but you need a very buttoned up product to be able to sell to them, and just we're not at that stage yet. But I think definitely a route where there's a lot of money if you build the right product, but that's definitely very challenging to do.
Your 4-player game, the 2 games that you have, are they arena scale, or is it like single station over the internet?
They're arena scale in the sense of, we have multiple sizes, but it's 15 by 15 is the smallest, and then it goes up to 30 by 30. So I didn't answer the previous question, but we go with the hardware we mostly use is HTC 5s.
Okay.
Just for like the Steam VR platform. Mostly because that's just what the customers have.
Yeah.
But I'm very bullish on the Oculus Quest.
Mm-hmm.
I think the affordability and how the tracking and all that, it scales very well. So we would have to, and then if you make a game for the Quest, it scales up, as in you can sell it to it will work on any hardware. Right. If you make something for the Vive and a wireless adapter, it's not going to work on a Quest inherently. People might expect more graphics wise if you have something on the Quest, or if it's made for the Quest and then you're showing it on the Vive. But if you make something for the Quest, it'll just work on the Vive. So that's where we see the future of what we're going to do. But right now the stuff's built for the like Steam VR.
And my last question, I promise.
yeah, no
Since
worries.
you're developing your own content and distributing it to your own partners, and you have that established relationship, do you have plans on like onboarding more content so that you can distribute more content in addition to your own games, or is that?
It's from a logistics standpoint, it would be harder to. If we had something like a per play model, I think it would be easier. Like to track how much is played and to split revenue would be easier. But how we do it now, it's just because it's only 2 of us. It's a much smaller. It's whatever's the easiest logistically is what we're going with at the moment. And we don't really have enough of customers, I think, to make it make sense where someone like Springboard or Synthesis, they have that. But
cool. Thanks.
When we scale up, maybe down the line, but not right now.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I think that's it.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks, Evan. All right.
How'd you do that?
Emoji, bottom right.
And I think our next and last speaker is Micah. Hi. I see Micah stuck in the wall for me. I don't know if that's a VR chat bug. I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
No, I'm not in the wall. Let me go. I want to go over here. All right, everyone. So, how long am I supposed to talk for?
No, like 10, 15 minutes, some time for Q&A.
Okay. So I am a WebXR developer. I am also so I'm a software architect because I say that because I've architected 2 applications that run on WebXR. The first one was we brought EEG into WebVR. We used the Brainduino device, so you could put some electrodes on your forehead, and we would collect basically the voltage would from your brainwaves would become an array of numbers that we basically created a simple server, piped that in Python, and piped that into. We created a WebSocket to send the data streaming into an HTML page, where we ran A-frame to cause the stream of numbers to make our blocks go up and down, and different blocks for the different alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma brainwave frequencies. And then it was really cool, but it wasn't something we could really distribute widely because how many people own a Brainduino EEG system in addition to their Oculus Quest. So I said, well, I need to do something else, and so that became my new product, which is coming out soon. It's a WebXR magazine, and there was just this post by VentureBeat where they said that AR and VR is the future of news and the future of journalism and the future of but someone else said to me, well, what's the value of that really? How do I get anything else by seeing the news in 3D? What am I getting? I said, well, look at the different scenarios that we have for news. You could if some incident happens in some country and you want to know what's happening, if you had like augmented reality news, you could have a model of the building, or like someone could run over there and do a quick photogrammetric model of the scene, and that would pop up in 3D for you, so you could get a sense of the place and the people, like sort of close up. And that can include volumetric video. You can make volumetric video, cheaply and quickly with you just need a laptop and a dev camera like the Kinect Azure camera. And so that's what I've been doing. It's what I've been working on. Is sort of like being able to do the news in a new way. So right now it's basically like for WebVR, basically I have videos running. You can move around with teleport, and you can turn left or right with your thumbstick. You can, it's got full 6 off space. It has menus. It has this interface. You can change the scale, rotation, and position of a 3D object through like a sort of like carousel. You can rotate objects from one location to the next, and they can inherit the properties of that location. There's probably other ways to do that too, but the point is that it really makes for a very smooth looking interface that lets you navigate through photos and 3D models and 3D interviews and videos to consume content of all shapes and sizes. And then so after I sort of built this interface with WebVR, and it looks as good as the stuff that you see in VR chat, like rooms can be, like this could be like everything in this room, like including the avatars, could be in WebVR. Like a lot of people have seen Moonrider X.xyz. That's the website where you can play basically a game that's similar to Beat Saber, but it's all a website. And so that's probably the best example of what you can do. There's A-Frame, there's 3JS, there's which A-Frame is a framework, a wrapper that uses 3JS. There's also BabylonJS.com if you want to check that. Babylon was the original alternative 3D graphic engine, alternative to 3JS, but they're both high-level scripting that work on top of WebGL2 or WebGL, which was based sort of on OpenGL2. And then the next stage of web graphics will be web GPU. Web graphics and web VR graphics and web AR graphics. So web GPU comes, and we can really, like Metal and like Vulkan, we can start to launch next level graphical shaders that we can start to think about. If we had enough processing power, and you could send enough data, if you have maybe you have a longer loading time, if you make your scene more graphically intense, but you could start to play with the kind of power that you have in a person's desktop GPU, but maybe also you could work within the realm of the mobile GPU, and possibly a third option is, because you'll get more users. I think Quest may be, the first way to get the Oculus Quest may be the best way to get to WebVR, because it sort of has a web browser that works great for WebVR built into the core menu system. And this is something that like if you wanted to do WebVR on an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive, yeah, you can get the Mozilla Reality browser, you can get Super Medium browser, which I think is not being supported anymore, or you could try the Microsoft Edge browser, but it's just not it's like a top option, sort of like you'd have to go kind of search for ways to do WebVR on the desktop. So targeting, maybe your apps for like the Oculus Quest is in terms of your graphic design, and in terms of, having fewer triangles, because you're expecting that the chances are that if someone sees this in VR, it's going to be, with an Oculus Quest. And what's really great about WebXR is it's also the same code that you write. If you write some complex interface that has, fantastic animations and lots of buttons and things you can click and move around and manipulate your 3D data and maybe organize your mind. Like imagine that you can it's if you can right now, like we don't like, I guess what I'm thinking is that there's enormous I think that every company that wants to present, because first of all, because it looks cool, second of all, because there's a lot of 3D data in the world. A lot of companies are starting to, with your phone you can make a 3D model, right? And then with your phone you can make not just 3D model of, like, maybe you have a restaurant and you're serving a plate, but you can also make a 3D model of the restaurant, and then you can drop that into WebVR, and you can serve it with a link. You can serve it with a link that is a QR code, right? And so every business is gonna, like, this is gonna, well, at some point it's gonna catch on that businesses just have these websites, and so there'll just be a huge growing market for like, well, hey, we there's almost an unlimited amount of like, hey, we could build like web VR websites for all these companies in the world who would pay for a website, but now that they've seen web VR websites, they need their own web VR website, and so that's sort of like, sort of what I dream about. It's almost like an unlimited amount of work in terms of like, how many companies exist, right? It's where my enthusiasm is. So I see lots of opportunities, and I really believe that we're gonna have like maybe the Oasis that you see in the movies will be web VR based, because it's gonna be the thing that companies will be buying. And I need an app that does that for my company. I basically need a web VR app. That's what they'll say. That's what they'll think. And it'll run on the Oculus Quest, and on top of that, it can run on your phone. Like my web VR app runs great on iOS. It runs great on the desktop. You can navigate. There's so many different options to navigate. There's like a joystick that you can move forward, left, and right. And if you're on a phone or the desktop, and then I don't know. How long have I gone? Is it time for questions?
Yeah, I think we could you could wrap up, and then we could do questions afterwards. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I'm optimistic because, sort of like to recap that, like, web GPU is coming, and so the graphics can be potentially next level. We could take more advantage of what's happening on the Quest, and maybe design for the Quest first, because that's what most VR users will have in about a year from now, maybe. If the sales continue, I'm guessing the Quest will be very dominant.
Yeah.
And hopefully it will be, lighter in the future. Hopefully we'll get maybe a Quest that's really glasses, and the rest of the hardware is like, like the Magic Leap, it's a separate thing you can clip on to your waist or something. And yeah, so anyway, so questions, I guess.
I have a first question.
Okay.
How you mentioned these technologies and the hardware is coming. How?
Well, they're here. They're also
here. Yeah. I guess
the growth is coming.
Yeah.
What I'm saying.
The age-old question with new technologies is so when do we think, or I guess I'll phrase my question as, when do we think the first like killer niche use case do you think will come, like in years, like a year, 5 years, so on?
Well, I mean, I hope I'm building it with my app, my magazine.
Yeah.
I hope people will like it.
When do you think that will?
I'm trying to launch it before the end of the year, but I do have like seriously a lot of work to. But you have a hand raised?
Oh yeah. So I've played a little bit with web AR, but I haven't done any web VR. Like, it's kind of a basic question, but like, how do you use that? Is it like on the phone inside another headset or something, or?
How do you? Well,
like, because the AR, you just look at the phone and you look through like the camera, and it does like normal AR things. Yeah.
So phone on web. When the phone's on web VR, it's very interesting because it doesn't need to track the location of the world. And so basically, you can hold up your screen with one hand and put your thumb on it, and you can basically push the joystick. You can move forwards or backwards as if you're playing Call of Duty on your phone. Have you tried Call of Duty on iOS?
Yeah. No, I haven't. No.
That's a good Call of Duty on iOS is an amazing example of basically, it's almost like
No, I see what you're saying. That's interesting, but it's not tied to a headset at all. Is what you're saying? You just sort of hold up the phone and like look through it. Okay.
Yeah, you can hold up the phone and look through it, or you can look down at your phone actually, and you can rotate the screen by sliding your thumb across the middle of the screen, left and down, up and right, and that rotates the direction you're looking. And then if you want to move, there's this joystick on the screen. You slide your thumb on the joystick, and it'll move you forward, backwards, left, and right. And
So how is that differentiated then from like just using the gyroscope?
You can also use the gyroscope.
Like in a normal game.
Actually. You can use the gyroscope in a normal game. So you can have it so that a WebVR programmer could have it so that when the user goes to the website, they receive a pop-up and it says, "Would you like to enable the gyroscope or whatever it's called?" And then they say, if the user says yes, then yes, it operates like a VR headset basically, where you get a frame that's based upon where the phone's orientation has changed too. So, and I believe that's IMU based. Yeah, sure. But it's also possible, if you've ever seen with AR on the phone, you know how you can develop like there's a Portal app that's like open source that you can run on your phone, and that brings you in between AR and VR versions of the world. It's just like, it's like instead of you could lock VR to the world and with your phone. I'm not doing that at this point, but that's something we could do. And then
that's interesting.
Because then you're just creating a room that your phone can go through, just as if it was a regular object in VR.
Thank you.
Sure. Another question over there?
Yeah. So you mentioned WebVR. WebVR. I've attempted to use WebVR before. Maybe I'm thinking of a different thing than you are, but it wasn't quite really working. Has it developed in any form since like maybe a while ago, or like is it very readily usable on like HTC Vive and stuff?
Well, I can give you some websites you can check out some examples. It's difficult to get it running on the HTC Vive because you need a special browser like Super Medium browser. I think Firefox Reality is not yet working.
Yeah, because I tried Chromium and the Firefox browser, and neither of them worked back then.
Well, it works. It's the easiest way to do it is to run it on Oculus Quest. But if you don't have that yet, you can. There must be like a tutorial of how to get it running on Vive. Someone must have figured it out. I got it running
Super Medium, or you can get in Steam. I'm pretty sure. I think I've done that with Sketchfab before.
But it totally works. It works. I think a really good way to see it working is if you have a Windows Mixed Reality, because if you go to WebVR in the Edge browser on Microsoft Windows while you have a Windows Mixed Reality headset, and you're going to a WebVR website, then that is going to load into VR, and that's the easiest way that I know of. Is to use a Windows Mixed Reality headset and Microsoft Edge. I'm not sure if that would work.
Have that headset.
It's possible that if you get the Windows Mixed Reality like system, like the software, and you use the Microsoft Edge browser, that it would work in the Vive. That's possible. I haven't tried that yet, but my intuition is that the Oculus Quest is just going to, dominate sales, dominate the desktop VR sales. I don't know, over the course of the whole year of 2020, unless something else launches that people want to buy that's even more interesting than the Quest. I think and the consequence is that people will have more access to web VR, and you have a bigger audience, but your audience will like if you're a developer of software, you might want to like whether you're doing WebVR or regular apps, you might want to target the Oculus Quest first because of how the market's going to change in 2020, and before targeting other platforms. So.
Okay.
Or how easy is it to make something for both WebVR and as a standalone app? Like if you wanted to release it also on like Steam or other platforms?
Well, so we're kind of like I said, the problem with desktop VR with the Vive is it's difficult to find a working solution. I didn't find one, but you can. How easy to?
They make a standalone app version of the WebVR application.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have a direct answer, but I may have an indirect answer. So like, there's this. So I don't know the exact answer to your question, but I can sort of address it. There's this app called ExoKit, and it's basically like a Unity wrapper that can run JavaScript, and like you can run like all of the WebVR stuff as it looks like an application package, and so people could download that to their system, which could be the class for the Magic Leap or the HoloLens 2, or maybe the Nreal device at some point. So it's like a Node.js wrapper. I imagine that it's possible that you could use, because you can take HTML code today, you can take your web app and you can run it as an app on your iOS device. If you like, you're basically, it's like a Node.js wrapper or something, maybe.
It makes sense.
And I wonder if that would work with WebVR. I've never tried it, but it seems like it should. It's just JavaScript, right? So I don't know.
Cool.
Actually, I had one more question.
Okay. Sure.
So, what would you say are the biggest players in the WebXR space right now? The companies. In the talk, you guys mentioned Super Medium, but you said they're not really around anymore. You mentioned it sounded like Firefox and Windows MR are leading. It sounds like Chrome is falling behind. Like, what are the major players? What are the major players, and what are they doing with WebXR right now?
Okay. So so Microsoft is a major player. They're pushing Babylon JS. Firefox is a major player. They're of course selling the Firefox reality browsers coming to the HoloLens too. Some of the latest news, and I don't know. I think it's already on the Oculus, but it's not like doing WebXR on the Oculus yet. So people are hoping that Firefox reality browser will it'll continue to improve, and it'll be a good option. It's not currently really a good option for anything, but in the future it should be. Google has a major investment in developing WebVR. They're at the core of writing the WebVR spec, which all these companies are signing on to and have signed on to for a long time. The Kronos Group is involved with OpenXR, which was started by Silicon Valley companies. And that's just tied to the WebXR API spec, because the Kronos Group is a standards body, and it's sort of an agreement between major Silicon Valley companies and other companies around the world with related technologies. Like I believe Sony is part of the Kronos Group too. And then so it's interesting. So Facebook has done a lot of work, and a lot of important work, and in putting the Oculus browser up front and center inside the Oculus Quest, but overall they haven't provided a lot of software support for WebVR. They're mostly focused on they're over focused on doing stuff with Unity and Unreal Engine, and I believe that I'm not sure exactly, but I think they also use React to create some VR apps. Not entirely sure how that works. I think the people at Facebook generally like React a lot. That's what I've heard. So there's also so ExoKit's really exciting. Then there's there's it would be better if I could tell you, if I can put together a presentation and come back and talk again. I have like an actual, we could go through a lot more examples of it. Just make a list of companies. There's a lot more to say in terms of what's going on with WebXR and what are the big companies in it, and there's
that'd be awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, so it'd be good to come back, and I'll bring my slides, and well, I'll have a list ready.
Cool.
Any last questions?
I think
I
that's.
guess that's it.
Sorry. What's your favorite
ahead.
WebXR app besides your own? If I was gonna go check out something right now or later.
Yeah. I right now I'm recommending if you have an Oculus Quest to try out moonrider.xyz because it's like playing Beat Saber. And you can just really compare the differences between Beat Saber and Moonrider to see how capable WebXR really is.
Yeah, definitely. I'll check it out.
And then check out webxr.com and aframe.io and babylonjs.com, 3js.org, and those are some great websites to check out. ExoKit, you want to check out ExoKit Web. That's really cool. Check out 8th Wall. Check out if you're into augmented reality on iOS. You gotta check out 8th Wall. It's an incredible company. They actually developed their own. 8th Wall is exciting because they basically created 90 web AR apps for major companies around the world in the past year, and they basically developed their own like visual tracking system that doesn't use the IMU of the phone, and it works like it's faster than Google AR Core. It's faster than ARKit, Apple's AR engine, and it runs on a phone you scan a QR code, and that launches you into an AR application, which is like incredible. Like this, they're just like ahead of the pack. They're ahead of Google and Apple, right? So they're an exciting company. You can, so I recommend everybody check that out. And the thing is, what's interesting is 8th Wall uses A-Frame or Babylon.js or just 3JS. Like it supports all the web XR tech. Pretty soon, the thing about A-Frame is that pretty soon, sort of the web XR spec is going to enable basically anyone to do web AR without a license. It'll be just like that's how web AR is done. Right now, you need to buy the license from 8th Wall to do what they're doing, but that is going to change when the web AR portion of the WebXR spec is finally released by the committee that's doing the web AR spec, which is Google and another company seem to be leaders in terms of updating that. A couple of companies. Is that a question over there? Question over here? Okay.
No, I was just scratching my head.
Okay, I think that's my time. Go ahead.
Actually, I just one last quick question. Which hardware would you say is best for browsing WebXR websites? Is it the Oculus Quest?
Yeah, right now the Oculus Quest is the best.
Okay.
The Nreal is really nice. It's for what they're charging right now for it. I thought the Nreal was gonna be like $400 or something, and it would run with your phone. Or looks like the package online is $2,000, but so I don't know if they changed the pricing or if I just haven't seen all the pricing yet. But Nreal is like you only get basically a 3DOF controller, but you get like augmented reality glasses, and they work, and they've got 6DOF in the glasses, and so you could start to bring, I believe you can start to bring web AR stuff to it, and so you wouldn't have to hold up your iPhone. Right now, web AR is like iPhone based, and so if you're developing web AR, it does make sense to program for the phone, for Android and iOS, because then the most users can use your app. So you would look, if you look at what 8th Wall has done with their interfaces and how that is a different way of writing interfaces. It's a different way of creating programs, a different user experience for sure. If you're doing AR with the phone versus VR with an Oculus Quest. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll get down off the stage
All right.
now.
Cool. Thank you, Micah. Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you again to all of our speakers, to our attended, and all of our attendees here for our first meetup in VR. Just to make a few quick closing remarks. Micah talked a lot about the future of the XR internet and WebXR. One thing I actually wanted to add on top of this idea of meetups in VR and conferences in VR is our intention is to build up the platform so that it lives on the XR internet, so that when we have enterprise companies building demos and we're building conference centers and expo halls and all that content that we're building, we hope that it will live on the XR internet, so that eventually we build out this content from on the XR internet using enterprise business value, using enterprise revenue. So that's sort of the future that we see, all the pieces that we see coming together, from content development to XR engineering and XR internet. So with that, we thanks again for coming to the meetup. We hope to host another one soon. I'll post on the meetup. Everybody here is on our meetup group, so we'll post again maybe in December. We were going to be sending out a survey pretty soon, either tonight or tomorrow. Would really appreciate it if you guys could provide your feedback on that survey, and also let us know there how we can design these business meetups more for you. This is the first meetup, so we didn't invite too many of our the business partners that we know through our conferences and through our partners. However, moving forward for the next meetup and the next one after that, we're going to start inviting more business attendees, businesses who work in VR, who sort of do this day in, day out, and to come and attend, to come and speak. I'm talking with our friends at Oculus Quest. One of our friends actually owns the approval process for getting into the Oculus Quest store. I'm asking people like them to come and speak. So thanks again for coming to our first meetup. Hope to have you guys come attend, and maybe if you guys attended and didn't speak and are interested in speaking, come feel free to talk to me. So after this is the end of the talks. We're gonna just do a networking breakout. You guys are welcome to talk with people, talk with me. I'll be around for as long as you like. You guys can stay in this room as long as you like. There's no rent, and there's no janitors coming in to turn off the lights. So all right, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming to the first meetup. Thank you. Yeah. Hey Evan, could I pull you over for a quick minute? So you have two games that you're distributing with different locations. You mentioned one in LA, and you said So Real in China. What other locations? Like how many locations do you have?
What?
There's a. Let's see. I think there's because there's some people that are going through Springboard and through Synthesis, but it's like around probably like 10 total, so it's not a crazy amount.
Okay, cool.
That's good for arena scale. Content licensing. That's really impressive, in my opinion.
Testing tonight for the audio?
Yeah, I mean it's.
No, not tonight.
It's. I think
that's cool.
Arizona Sunshine is about like where we're looking, like just online, just like the people who have LBE theirs, and then just kind of reach out to them. It's kind of, and then just going on Yelp and emailing people through your events and other stuff, just finding the right people. It's like a lot of arcades don't have arena scale, is the reality.
I feel like eventually, say your investment in the Quest, and eventually when more and more people have VR at home, the only way I think those locations will offer value is with arena scale, is with your type of content.
100% agree.
Building and things like
It'll
that.
flip over and stay in
and simulators and things like that.
Okay, so let's say I have a
real
face
quick.
on defense.
I wanted to follow up with you on
let's say I have a demon buck. If somebody casts
so we have a Vive-based LBE game, RoboCats, which we demoed at the last conference.
Yeah, I tried it when I out there.
Yeah.
Switch position shows
you mentioned that you're interested in sort of arrangements that are easiest logistically.
Switch position. It's not there until after.
So you sort of heard my talk about like our studio's core priorities and things like that. our
then they start
LBE
to go to
game,
attack it, I
we're
can
mainly
swap
just
my
using
guy's
it
position
to
quickly.
run mobile events now, because we do a lot of
Mhm.
corporate events and birthday
It's
parties. But
basically
we're not really
a
licensing it
sphere
to
showing
people
up when it's
right
not
now.
my turn.
But
Mhm.
like, if
Yeah,
we could find
that's
a
the
super
issue.
easy way to
But
just like
you know,
hand the game
there's
over to you, the
I
value
need
for us
to
just being, oh
because
wow, we have 10 locations playing our
put it
game, now we can
around
get
that,
feedback and things like that.
review our
With that,
priority list and our
without really
backlog
worrying
of
about
bugs
like the
and
revenue
see
model,
really
because
what's
that's
the
not
biggest
really what we're
priority.
interested in.
Because that's more.
Mhm.
It's
Would
not a
that be something
game-breaking
that
bug.
you
It's
guys
more
would be
like
interested in
opening the
talking about
opportunity
more?
for players to cheat.
Yeah, I mean, I think
That's
what we're doing to
it's
distribute this stuff is
worrying.
through Steam.
There
Just
are
give
there
Steam
are
keys
some
as an
things that
easy
are
way,
worth, you know,
and then you can ban them if
we only
they
have like
you don't want them to use them
75 days of
anymore.
development
And I
before we go to
can
early
introduce
access.
you to the people that you have using
Maybe
it.
there's something on there that we want to wait for.
And then it'll be up to them to use it. I don't know what,
I doubt it,
but yeah,
since we
I can
definitely don't want people to cheat.
give you, yeah, just show them like, hey, here's a new game. Because they're all, they need content and they're looking for affordable content.
Right.
Because it's like, we're in the middle of like, our game's not as good as
No,
Arizona
that's
Sunshine,
yeah, that's gonna take too long
but
to
it's
implement. I mean,
cheaper.
obviously, yeah, that is a huge priority,
So,
but I'm saying
and
for early
so
access.
that's where we're kind of at in the sense of find like people that are looking for that kind of
You
stuff.
know,
So
but I know
yeah,
he's been trying. So
I,
if he hasn't gotten it,
the people that we've
One
been working with,
question.
sure.
what the walls are, what the problems
Sorry
are,
for
but
interrupting.
Oh, go ahead.
No worries.
How about
we are a
how
VR
much
game,
are
and
they
obviously that
charging
would be
for
huge
Arizona
for our audience.
Sunshine?
But
I forget exactly. I think it was something like 10,000, like
Doing all right.
8,000 up front, and then a royalty. I forget exactly, but it
No, I'm a meetup organizer.
More than
Wow.
$100 a
it
month.
was more than ours is per user, so it's. But I think theirs was like close to 1,000 a month. But I could be wrong. I forget exactly. I had it written down somewhere, but theirs is more expensive.
Yeah.
So are you over at
Oh, cool.
And they've seemed pretty successful with it.
Actually,
I
see
how many
most of
locations
my-
they are. The other one
yeah, I
that's
spend
interesting
most
is
of my
the
time, like, Mountain View,
Ubisoft
Redwood
one.
City. Like, sometimes we actually have
They're
a
more
moving table,
pod based.
so,
They're escape rooms. But they charge
last Monday of
$6 a
every
play,
month, we have a South
and
devs over in
they said they're like 200 or 300 locations, but that doesn't really mean too much because it's per play. There's no real entry
I
cost,
don't know if I've actually been to one of those.
but it seems like
Do you
they're
attend
expanding
those?
it, so it must be successful.
They're kind
Is
of
it like a
Alright,
pod
how
in a
can I
mall
give
type
it a
of
try?
Yeah.
well, except
Or
that
it's
pizza.
it's an escape room
Sometimes we have
game,
that
but they're
too.
still like single
Yeah.
booth style. It's not arena scale.
No,
Interesting.
it's nice. Various
But
people get up and
it's really well made. I
talk about
tried
their
it. It's
projects and
they use the Assassin's
demo a few
Creed
things here
IP,
and there, so
but it doesn't really have anything to do with Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
I can't remember.
It's more, yeah,
Oh,
but
go on.
I was just gonna say,
yeah, it
I
was.
think it's in Mountain View.
It's really well polished,
No,
and they're
no,
targeting
no,
escape rooms.
I've seen those for sure. I just haven't made it out to one of them.
It's a
Like,
meetup, so.
Alright, so what was the question? Oh, you
So-
mentioned about when you were on stage. You
we sometimes
mentioned
have
about
talks
that
like we
software
had
as a
here in
service,
Silicon
which
indie game
takes
developers of
each
Silicon Valley
person,
meetup. So I think
and
there's
I
some
guess
crossover,
you
like
use
some
them
people who go to
as a distribution
Silicon
solution.
SVVR go
Sure.
to that
I
one.
couldn't get
We
it
have, like,
exactly.
we have,
What is it
also,
called
like,
again? And
VR
There's
what is the
Springboard,
thing too.
Springboard
So,
VR,
are you in
and Synthesis
location-based
VR
entertainment,
are
or-
the.
I know them, but yeah, you
I'm
mentioned.
not
I guess it was
directly,
another
although I've
option.
worked on
I
a
guess.
couple of
Oh,
small contract
Fast
projects
Spring.
that
That's
were
kind of just like
designed
the
or
back
destined
end we
for,
use.
LBE.
It's
Oh.
last one I
it's just
did
kind of
was
like a billing software.
a thing that was going to coincide with
But
the
they
Oh,
make it
I-
super easy, and you can.
Apollo landing. And so there
They
was
take
a-
it's a
there's
high,
a
pretty high
company that
percent
made,
for what, but I mean, it's for us, it makes it worth it. It's not really a platform, but it's like to distribute content, but it's just more of a billing solution.
It's kind of like
The
Stripe.
platform would rumble and
Yeah.
you know, as they're in the VR
Or
experience.
Stripe's
and
like
then
3%, they're
do
9,
sound design
or
and
like
music on that
7.
platform, right?
that's cool.
So that
Yeah,
that
7,
was
8
definitely an
percent is
LBE thing,
it's
but
serious.
yeah,
It's
I'm
serious.
obviously I'm a sound
person?
Yeah, no, it's
of
a,
course,
but
taking
for
long-
us where we're at,
long-term
it's
games,
definitely it's
trying
the
to focus on VR
easiest
now.
to get into,
And,
and the easiest.
Mhm.
They handle all the back end stuff, where Stripe does
that's me.
part of it.
What about you?
Right.
Are you helping
Mhm.
Jeremy with putting this thing on?
Oh
I
no,
see. Alright.
I run a couple other
Okay,
meetups, but I
And
work
Jeremy,
in
you mentioned
games.
about some numbers which
I
were,
work at Riot Games
they were all helpful.
in Redwood City.
Thanks for
So,
that. And
just, you know,
you mentioned about, you said
have a good time
there
developing
are
games,
currently 13,000 VR
doing that
arcades.
9
Is
to
it in
5. It's a
United
good time.
States?
I think that's worldwide. So something I forgot to mention to everybody while I was on stages.
Until
I've been
recently, a
streaming all
software
of this, so I'm
engineer,
gonna
and now
put
I'm going to be doing
the whole
game
video
design.
feed on YouTube, and I'll send it to an email. And all of everyone's emails and like business information, I'll send that out as well. So you guys can like email each other and follow up with questions.
Like 12 years, and then
If you remind me and send me an email afterwards, I can send you the exact analytics research that I got that from. I got that from a talk that Greenlight Insights held at our conference earlier this April. And they do a bunch of analytics and survey a bunch of arcades all around the world. So that's where I got that number from. It's technically 13,500 in 2018.
That comes about, but yeah, for sure.
My assumption is it would heavily skew from China
something new, or
for that number.
To be honest,
yeah.
it was a reorg at PlayStation, and you know, my
I think they have a
any
demographic.
numbers
others were eliminated. So
Sorry?
Okay. How about do you have any numbers for the US market?
I think they have it in the slides. I just don't have it off the top of my head. So I
alright,
can send
okay,
you
cool.
that video where they had all the slides.
line
Yeah.
to a goose, I think.
Alright, I'll have a look. Cool.
this is wild.
Cool.
Anyway,
It's definitely the most surreal meetup I've ever been to.
And you mentioned that, Jeremy, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong. As far as I remember, you were working for Microsoft before?
Yes. Yeah. So like 5 years ago, I was on Microsoft HoloLens. I did Xbox, shipped Xbox One, and then shipped Microsoft HoloLens. And then I came out to do my own thing.
I figured it all out, and
It's been a while.
I spent an hour trying to reset up my
Okay.
VR
But it's
equipment
helpful
so I could
because like for our last
I was
conference,
20
because I know a
minutes
bunch of
late
people in
because I
there,
had to reinstall,
I was able
drivers
to
and things
Microsoft was able to
Well,
sponsor
I
our
was
conference
here.
at the
I was
San
here at
Francisco
5 o'clock,
Microsoft
and
Reactor.
there was really nobody around.
And we got some
Mhm.
really nice
Seven
speakers, and
o'clock.
Microsoft helped us a
Oh, yeah.
lot
Well,
with
I was still setting my
connecting,
setup.
with the
Mhm.
partners and bringing them over here.
Who's
So
your, who's
yeah,
your
that was
audio
great.
director there at Riot
Mhm.
in Redwood City?
Oh,
Okay,
I
so
think we have
did you
Eugene
quit
Tang as our one audio
Microsoft
person,
to
but
focus
most of
on
our audio
your
team is
VR
in
venture?
LA.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Wow,
have a
cool.
very small team.
Yeah.
We got like 80 people, like maybe
Brave. You're brave.
maybe smaller than that in
I mean,
Redwood
this is
City. It's
something
like a pretty
I've always
small
wanted to
office,
do.
but
So
they,
it was
most
it was
people are in
it was sort of a
San Francisco.
no-brainer for me. I just needed to
Yeah,
figure
that
out
makes
when I
sense.
was going to do it. I basically
Mhm.
told my manager I was going to quit the
Yeah,
week
that
after they
makes sense.
announced that they were going to ship
You've got a big
HoloLens.
group down there.
Because originally I was going to do the VR arcade with HoloLens. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, so
right now it's a
we're
secret
growing up
project,
here,
but if they announce it, they
slowly
have
but
to do it.
surely.
So literally they announced it on Tuesday, and that Saturday I was like, oh, I guess I can leave now. So on Monday I told my manager, okay, bye, and then I
Well,
disappeared.
so
So
of the
I went on a
presentations
road
that
trip, and then I came to
surprised you
California.
or-
So
or were interesting?
that's great.
Perfect. So,
Surprise, I don't know. I think it was definitely
So
interesting
what's
to,
your-
to hear about the
Yeah.
different.
you
Like,
mentioned
I
about
have been
before
kind of
letting you go.
I
Just one
got
last
into VR
question.
a
Sure,
while
sure,
ago,
please,
So,
and sort of not been paying
you
attention
mentioned
and just
about
hearing
several
about, like,
products.
web VR
So
and,
what?
like,
Which
like
one is your
usual
main
location-based
focus
stuff
as
I
of
didn't
now?
realize
Yeah.
was such a big deal.
So
Like, so it's cool
for
to
our
hear
content
about that.
development studio, we focus on the
It can
enterprise
be.
contracts.
It definitely can be.
Currently, we have
What I'm-
two
what I'm
contracts that we're
also
focusing on.
interested in
It's the therapy,
is the
VR therapy,
Mhm.
and the
industrial
VR
side,
fitness
the enterprise VR.
curriculum.
You know, basically
Now,
training for larger
over the
companies,
next
training
several
for
months, I'm creating
companies
like a
that,
separate branch of
you
the
know, put
business
people on
that
assembly
focuses
lines or
on the
in
meetups in
dangerous
VR and then
situations, you know?
conferences, business
I think
conferences
that's
in VR,
Here,
and
yeah,
trying to
it
develop
appears
this
that that
platform.
was
You know,
big.
so
There
it works
was
a
the
little
one,
better
you
than
know,
VR
the
chat,
Microsoft
so
HoloLens,
easier to
like,
get people
they
in,
have,
easier to
like,
see the
ton of,
calendar, easier to
commercial
you know
applications for
have a
that.
room to hold talks and
Exactly.
things like
I'd
that.
Well, I
really
haven't
like
seen
to
any of those.
You know,
Mhm.
yeah.
I'd like
So
to get into that business. I'd
yeah, and
like
like
Mhm.
business cards and AI
to keep looking,
systems
and
that
I
can
haven't found the
help
right
you
contact
match.
yet.
You know,
And
oh, like you guys
there's
are
got to
both
be work
LB, and then
there.
it tells you, oh, you guys should talk to each other, and you
There's
just
got to be
teleport to each
there's got to
other.
be work
Like
there,
features
and
like
there's
that
money
that
there.
that
There's a
save you
something
time,
like
save you money, and
Boeing
give
or a
you like
company like Tyson Foods. You know, Tyson
10x more
Foods
business value
has all these slaughterhouses
using
and
VR as a
assembly
tool.
lines all
So
over the country,
yeah.
right? And
Okay,
they
so
Yeah.
it's gonna be
tons,
VR chat for
tons of
business.
training in quality.
yeah,
So
yeah, that's
there's
one
money
way
to
to
be
that's
made there.
one way to
There's
put it.
work
Yeah.
to be done.
have you looked at Microsoft directly?
Alright,
Because I know
cool.
some
So
working in HoloLens,
you already
they
mentioned about
go and they
a
work with
product
their
for
to
training.
like help them
Yes.
with different
Is
things.
it your
Like,
product?
have
Yes,
you
yes.
looked to see if there's any like
Oh,
just
which
Could you please?
HoloLens?
yeah, we've done
No, I have, and there's no
CPR training,
content,
fire
no
safety
real
training,
content openings. I
active
mean, I'm not a
shooter,
software engineer.
safety
Yeah,
training.
All my content
So
implementation.
those are the purely
I work
training
in,
ones.
I'm
Yeah.
comfortable in
Yeah.
Unreal and using
Mhm.
WYs and
Okay.
all
Oh,
the
why do you
audio
ask?
tools, of
Are
course.
you doing something in the realm of simulation training too?
But they must need
Actually,
some
no,
help.
not
Maybe not in
about
audio, but
simulation,
to
but
deal like maybe in audio though, because like
I have a
I'm sure these
one of my
people over at
corporate
Tyson Foods
clients.
don't have audio experience, right?
Now they have tens of
What they do is
ten,
what
actually
they
no,
do is they contract
thousands of
a
employees.
developer, somebody
That's
who's done
why
it before
I
for somebody
would
else,
love
right? And then
to
that person, it's
give them an
developer who
option
then reaches out to
in terms of VR
ideally a person like
training.
me and
But you
collaborates
know,
with them, or a small boutique.
I'm still, you know,
a small
it's
boutique
just an
company.
idea.
There's a few
I'm not,
around the
you know, I'm
country.
not
I'm still trying to
talking
find the
about
right
developing
connection with
something,
those
but
guys.
when
Yeah,
I
no, Tyson Foods doesn't.
find
Tyson Foods
something
hires a developer
which is,
to
you know,
create the
good
product,
for
and then that developer
enterprise training,
hires the audio
then
folks to
I
help
may,
them,
you know, I may
sonify it
resell
and
it.
get what they need.
Yeah.
So,
Since I you know, I have a good relation with my customer, and
I'm trying to make.
we are just developing entertainment systems for them.
I'm gonna wander
But
around. It's nice talking
I
to you.
want to, you know, as you mentioned, what you plan for your company, I'm planning to do, you know, I'm planning to expand on the other, you know, ways, and that should be VR training. That's why I'm, you know, that's why I'm looking for reliable product in that field. That's why I was just curious.
Got it. Our training products all work on Oculus Go. You ship out the Go's, you teach them how to use it. Sometimes they'll like pay more for a class and have a person, like a technician, teach everybody how to use it and make sure everything's charged and things like that. Let me if we could connect over email, I can send you a video, like a demo video, and you let me know if that might be something interesting.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, of the training.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'll have a look.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
It was nice seeing you again.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Yeah, likewise. Take care.
Take care.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, yes.
Oh, I think
Hi,
I've heard
welcome.
of this.
How are you?
Is
Glad
it
you
good?
can make it. I'm
Thank
good,
you.
good. Yeah.
Me too. I met you at that LBE thing at
How is it
Samsung
better
a
than
year and a
the-
half or 2 years ago now.
Ah, nice, nice.
I don't expect you to remember me, but anyway.
Not in this avatar.
Good point. I was wandering around. I just heard you say something about your training is all on the Oculus Go.
Yeah.
I did not read that.
So I'm curious, who are your customers? Who are you helping train their people?
So we're the content developers, and we're working with a 25-year, experienced safety training company. Historically, they do safety training with physical people instructors, like trained firefighters, veterans, and things like that. And they certify, they actually do certifications. Now, those that company, their customers are Shell, corporate employees. Those are Apple corporate employees, ExxonMobil corporate employees, and so on. So that's sort of their niche market is finding big, companies who would spend, a lot of money, honestly, on training, safety training for their employees.
How does it compare to the index?
Understood.
Yeah. And that's
Understood.
scalable
And then
through
you
VR.
and
Yeah.
they contract that company contracts you to create the VR experience.
Yep. Exactly.
And then you, if as necessary, you handle it in house with your crew, or you would additionally hire subcontractors for other things. Like
That's exactly right. We have a core team of 5, and then we expand and contract with developers, all around. Actually, Wyatt Hokage over there is one of our developers from Oregon. So yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that sounds like about the same. I spoke briefly, like I said, at that Samsung thing, the LBE, and that sounds like the same model or about the same size team that you had back then.
Yeah.
Cool. So let me.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask specifically. The training stuff, it probably has varying amounts of audio needs, right? Like sometimes there's usually dialogue, sometimes maybe there's music. How do you get that done? or how much what kind of audio is needed for those training products, if any?
So we have we're sort of the VR arm, and then we collaborate with a like a 360 video capture and editor. So that's one person. And the training is done with like 360 video to make it feel realistic,
got it.
To simulate the environment. So he does all the editing and things like that. There's I guess I'll sort of walk through the curriculum. There's the person talks and sort of teaches, and then there's the actual simulation in the scenario, and then there's usually it starts with like a scenario gone wrong and then a scenario done right, and then there's like a quiz, like a Q&A question, and then a quiz. So during those parts, the talking is the actor, is the teacher, the instructor, firefighter or whatever, doing the actual talking. That's that audio.
And that's a live capture. That's a live capture on the stage, right? Yeah. So you've got a microphone on him, and you're capturing that in sync, probably time code with the 360 video.
Exactly. And we just use one of those off the shelf, like Samsung or whatever cameras. Now for the VR, like more interactable pieces, like the Q&A and the FAQs is actually what I meant to say, and the quizzes.
Yeah.
They'll be like sound effects, like a few sound effects, but I wouldn't say that it's too sound heavy as compared to some of our other contracts. I would say.
But does all that stuff, including the 360 video, do you implement all that in Unity or Unreal, or what? Do you have is it a custom development environment, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we can do it in Unity, but we we opted to do this in Unreal. Yeah, because at the time we started this contract like I think 2 years ago, and back then Unity didn't have a timeline feature, like a sort of being able to movie edit essentially in Unity. Now it does. This year, I think it came out this year, but Unreal was perfect for that back then. So that's why we're built on Unreal.
Yeah. Well, the Unreal, the old. Now I'm trying to think the.
That's the thing, right? The Quest is
I'm trying to remember the name of the old the Unreal cinematic tool, and now they've got a new version of it. I can't. So it's right on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, yeah, I know they've improved their cinematic tool in the past year and a half or so. It's got a whole new name.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but nowadays I don't know if I would choose Unreal. Because Unity is like so easy and so fast, and now that they've caught up sort of with the timeline feature that they have, like the movie editing feature. It would be good to take another comparison at the two. But back then it was just Unreal. Yeah.
Cool. So it's back to audio. You guys do all that in house, or your video person pretty much does that kind of stuff too?
For that particular CPR contract, the video person does that, or the CPR company themselves finds things.
Sure.
Yeah. We honestly, we're such a small team. We haven't found ourselves in a position where we could like hire an audio person to like mix or make or.
No. You wouldn't need that full time, but you probably wouldn't need that full time. I agree. But if you ever find yourself in a situation where, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of dialogue to be edited or sound effects to be done or something, I'm trying to find those kinds of gigs.
Okay. Around what range of rate? That's the biggest thing for us.
Is it, Jeremy? Because I would, it scales. It scales. I'll give you an example. So I was doing some contract work for a boutique sound company out in Atlanta, Georgia, an old friend of mine. And we were working on some Facebook VR projects, and we worked on an R&D VR project for HBO, and I was making like $65 an hour as an audio director.
Okay.
And then, I work at Dolby Labs sometimes too, and I mix various marketing things in Atmos, and I get about the same rate.
Okay.
But, I've also worked for much less than that. So, for me, at this point, it's about making the context. It's about doing good work, having fun, to be honest, and I can be flexible. So
okay, I appreciate that. If we had a virtual business card system, this is when I would exchange business cards. I'll follow up. If you will want to shoot me an email, I'm gonna shoot out.
I've got you.
Yeah.
I understand. I've got your information for sure, and thanks for doing this. This is the first time I've done this, and I have to say, I had to reset up my PC today for various reasons, but it took me a little while. And then I came in about 5 o'clock, and I was in the, I don't know, the main room, right? Not the home space, but the other
hub,
space.
Yeah.
It is the hub, yeah. And I was in there, and I was kind of figuring it out, and then I reread your email like 3 times. It's like, okay, yeah, I got to do this. And eventually, it was cool. This actually turned out better than I thought. The only thing I'm, again, being an audio guy, the only problem I have right now is that those guys who are about 35 feet away from us, they're too loud. They're too loud for me.
Okay.
It's like I want to go into their fall off curve. In an audio editor, I would go into the fall off curve and dramatically reduce it. When they're when they get 15 feet away, it dramatically rolls off so that they're not so they're not too loud for our conversation.
No, that's good.
But I'm an audio geek, so there you go.
I have a slightly different perspective as an attendee because I'm constantly eavesdropping on people.
Got it.
So, earlier.
So you like that extended range, yeah?
Yeah, because earlier I was talking to Max and I was talking to Evan, and I overheard your conversation with Angelo. So I was like, oh, I should talk to him next. And you ended up coming over, but I was going to come over to you after.
No, I understand. That's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe there's a feature where
you could choose.
Well, you could choose and do something almost comical where the avatar, if the avatar has ears, the ears grow like you can go into bat ear mode, so you can hear more. That could be pretty fun.
Absolutely, anyway. like even a settings dial that lets you essentially expand your hearing or contract, how far you're able to hear.
Correct. It'd be the cone. The angle changes. Yeah. So it's an interesting idea, but it's cool. This worked pretty well, Jeremy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right, man.
Cool.
Well, thanks again. I'm gonna send you an email.
That sounds great. Appreciate it.
Nice talking to you, man. And good luck with all your training stuff. That's the business I think I want to get into, or one of the facets of the VR world. I just think that enterprise training it's a huge market. I don't know how much audio. I mean, I suppose it depends on the different business, but there's got to be some training where they need a realistic, true environment with a lot of 3D sounds placed on that mechanical assembly line kind of thing.
Right.
Where it has to be pretty accurate. It has to sound pretty realistic in the environment to help with the simulation and help with the training.
Exactly.
And I would love to get into that stuff. That's right up my alley, is making it sound real.
Yeah, I feel like more intense safety training, like fire safety, active shooter safety, those would be the sound. You absolutely need the sound to achieve your objective, your learning objective.
Exactly.
I found that things like our therapy session, VR therapy session, that is absolutely very important. Sound is absolutely very important because the music, the sort of how that affects the patient, the sound affects the reward. It's a lot of mindfulness, therapeutic, a little bit of meditation. That area. I think that area is very sound heavy too. If you're interested in looking into that area, it's very underdeveloped. It's very new. It's very niche. We've actually by now we've only really met one client that does therapy, that kind of a VR application. But I think finding, you're right, finding applications where the sound is a key to achieving your objective. Solving your problem.
That's what I'm trying to do, and that's why that's one of the reasons I came here today, and also to learn and just network, which we're doing. So again, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, well, take care.
You too.
See you. Bye.
I'm gonna go check these things out.
It's a headache.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because for me, the developing on Oculus, it's the app's always breaking, and I have to reinstall it, and then it'll be you have to restart your PC. Restart the PC. Try install again. Restart the PC again, and then repeat forever.
Yeah, I feel like setup on the Vive, at least for me, who I don't use it super often, it seems that it's a lot better just to be like it's just broken every time I come back, and I need to like install a new driver and restart. And recently it's been better, but like I was late for this meeting because like I had to reinstall my driver and like restart my computer and like do a bunch of stuff to even get the headset's tracking. And I was like, okay, I don't know, like one day it'll be better. Like, and I guess the Oculus Quest is like that, right? Like you just put it on and it works.
Yeah. How about you, Jeremy? What headset are you on?
I'm on an
He's on the
HTC Vive
Vive.
with full body tracking with a wireless adapter. So I'm like
I was
stress
gonna
testing it.
ask you about that.
Yeah,
Like,
so this is-
like you were up there on the stage and your legs were moving. I was like, oh, I ain't got a body like that. Like, how do you do that?
I don't
did
see the legs.
No, he was
you don't see
like when
legs?
he's on the stage, he was like moving his legs and stuff. Oh, he's on the Quest. You probably can't see your
yeah,
legs.
I don't have a Quest. Mine is not a Quest capable avatar.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Alright.
So what's the thing? Is it just like a
it's
camera that
orange.
tracks your whole
No,
body?
It's borderline.
No, it's
the
it's
same
the Vive
sensor.
pucks. HTC Vive pucks. It's imagine the HTC Vive controller, and then take the
Uh-huh.
top part off and attach it to your feet and hip.
Oh,
5
wild.
sensors, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, or 6, and then the head. And then just same
Where did you
lighthouses,
get
same
the extra
thing, same
dongles?
Steam VR. Huh?
Where did you get the dongles? I've been looking to get one.
It just came. I bought it from HTC, like so. It just came with it in the box.
Oh,
Yeah, the dongles,
Oh.
the
Oh,
puck
the puck
dongles.
come with it, right?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
official website.
Because the problem
It's the
with
latest Vive then.
that was the problem.
No, I have an old
Pimax has
Vive.
a stability tracking issue
Old
with
Vive?
index
Oh.
controller.
Yeah, even
So, for
before the
instance,
pros
look
came
this.
out.
So my hand
Oh.
right at my side is
Gotcha.
perfectly fine right about here. A little
Yeah.
bit of an issue right there, just right there, passes out. If I close my hand, that happens much more aggressively. And that's just an issue of it constantly cutting out. And so if it stays like that for a while, it won't track very well. And if I
Jeremy,
put my hand up, it'll
you
take
could consider
10 seconds to back up.
for your meeting
Seems to
app,
be some
you
kind
could
of bandwidth
consider
issue.
adding a
So
feature
someone figured
to
out
be
the
able
solution is
to
if you pair,
see people's
the controller
headset
dongle
type.
and upload the controller
Yes,
into
yes,
that,
yes.
the
I think that would be
tracking is,
interesting.
like, a lot smoother.
It'd be good data for us
Oh,
together,
interesting.
anyways.
And so you're using newer.
I
Mhm.
do have
newer
that data though,
controllers,
because
I
I
don't
had
think I
everybody
can
fill out
do
the
that,
survey,
like-
Yeah,
and
index
the survey
controller.
asked
Oh,
people
cool.
what device they're using. I think most people
Yeah,
are
I'm using an
using
amalgamation
Vive
of index controller,
today.
Pimax
Mhm.
headset, Vive
He's
bases.
weird. He uses Pimax and then a
It
bunch of
works.
quests.
Works pretty well, it seems like.
I don't know if anybody's using Rift. I forget. It's on my spreadsheet. Yeah.
I think
Oh,
most
yeah.
were
Did you
Quest
write
users.
Did you write me down on your spreadsheet as weird?
No, I didn't. I mean, no, you're the one entering the stuff. No, I just added a little comment. Oh, this guy using an unsupported device. Technically, you can run this with Windows MR too, but it's not on the official VRChat website, so I didn't bother listing it. I figured. Yeah.
So I asked everybody already, but Jeremy, have you tried any of this Facebook social VR?
I haven't, unfortunately. I have all the hardware. I just haven't tried it. What do you do? You recommend something?
No, I'm just looking for. I haven't tried it yet either. I went to like a meetup at Facebook a while ago where they were talking about it and talking about the technology that they're developing. Like I think they were developing. What's the thing called? Like that you draw in.
Tilt brush.
No, it wasn't tilt brush. It was now I forget the word. I forget what it's called. But like they were developing tools to make pictures and animations and things.
Microsoft Maquette?
You're talking about Facebook Horizon, right?
It was like started with a Q, I think.
Quill?
Quill, yeah.
Oh,
Must have been
yeah,
Quill.
that's the one that Fanny uses.
So, but then they started talking about like, avatars and that kind of thing. And it just seemed like similar to kind of vision you're talking about of like having social meetup spaces like this, but using like more standard avatars and like, so have you thought about like how your ideas different from that or like, or any of that?
Yeah, so I haven't done as much research as I should into like the Facebook social VR stuff, I know they have a really good event system and like notifications, almost like a meetup, right? They'll tell you, oh, this event's going to happen this week. This is what you might be interested in. Here's the calendar and things like that. What we're focusing on that I haven't seen anybody else focus on as much as we do is this is specifically business events, business conferences, business expos. So the feature set, I believe, will start to diverge. Like we'll still have voice chat, we'll still have these spaces, VR and desktop, all this stuff, but we'll start to diverge when Facebook is focusing on consumer social, and we focus on, okay, what are the features we can add to promote business value. For example, like just earlier, I wanted to exchange a business card, right? Virtual business cards. Before the meetup, I wanted to sort of know everybody who's coming and sort of know who I should talk to. So since it's digital, could we have a digital system that just recommends you, oh, based on the business opportunities you said you're seeking and offering, these are the top 5 people you should talk to today. Go talk to them first and then just teleport directly to them. Those types of features. And then as we get into more and more like larger and larger events, and as we expand out of VR game development to VR enterprise to even non-VR enterprise, I believe there will be features that are required to service each of those industries. One of the things on my to-do list is to go attend a bunch of different like non-VR enterprise expos and conferences, just to see, okay, oh, these are like the demos, they have people at the booths, they have videos and slides and presentations, all these business, requirements for the talks. They have these requirements, Q&A procedures and things like that. It'd be nice if we could build into the system a Q&A system where if you have a question, you could just type it in, and then when it's your turn, you just automatically unmute, or it just displays it. Things like that. Like those are very specific to the business conferences that I think will differentiate from like VR chat from everybody else who's trying to do consumer-based social VR. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah. And I believe that's where the money is. Like people already pay thousands of dollars to attend, to exhibit at enterprise business conferences because they get business value out of it. They get the partnerships, they close the deals, they get to show off the demo, they get to do advertising, marketing. So like I feel like that is a huge key factor in sort of creating the wave of the VR industry that we've all been waiting for. The Quest is one of those big pushers. Valve's, Half-Life is another big push, and this is sort of what I see as the other push is the enterprise side push. So, yeah.
That'd be interesting actually to see like a booth. I didn't think about that, but if you had like a really intricate booth, you could for some things it would be really good to show off like what your product is,
right?
As you can have like full 3D reproductions of like, I don't know, what you're selling a tractor or something, you can have it there. Like
exactly.
They probably already do that actually, where they have the real thing in the. I don't know if you've seen like CES or anything like
exactly,
that.
Like CES. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so like imagine like an auto show, right? Like all the companies have to spend thousands of dollars like getting a car in there just so people could sit in it. They can't even test drive. It's like they want to test drive, they have to schedule, oh, this weekend come over to the store and we'll schedule a test drive. But like in VR, you could simulate the test drive, you could have the representative selling you on something. And because the representatives from the companies don't have to fly in, you could have like everybody in the office go and be selling your booth. If you're doing like a climate change, scientist, researcher, expo, you're doing a talk, instead of just talking and doing slides and maybe showing a video, like you could just take people in a VR climate change simulation, right? Like show them, okay, this is what could happen, or this is, whatever. Like I think there's a lot of things that VR can be used as a tool for to make the business value just skyrocket 10 times more than you're able to do in real life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting to.
You won't be organizing the regular arcade conference anymore?
We're still planning on it this spring. the whether we'll do that one in VR, I'm not sure, because that one is so it's literally like location-based entertainment, and it may be harder to like do something like that in VR. But we're still gonna do it. Yeah, we're still planning on doing it.
You could emulate your location-based game in VR.
Yeah, I mean that's the ultimate challenge, right?
That is the ultimate challenge. Yeah.
You're trying to get all like any industry to like have their. Oh yeah, they have games like that, right? Like no, but like if you want to represent any industry in VR, why not start with your own? That's interesting.
It'll be tough. We still got to think a lot about it. This is like the first time we had no idea how this would turn out. Like this already exceeded my expectations a lot. Like the fact that we're still here.
Yeah. I really want to upload an avatar. I don't think I'm allowed to upload an avatar with this account yet, but I want to. Have you seen like have you seen Pin Screen?
No.
So there's like they're not the only one, but there's a bunch of services where you like take a picture of your face and it'll like generate an avatar of you, like a 3D one. Like I was gonna do something like that just so I can like represent like myself and like in addition to like my name and my voice and that kind of thing, because it feels like awkward. I don't know where did they went, but there was somebody who was like chili pepper or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody was somebody like it's like it's cool, but like also I wouldn't be able to recognize them if I saw them at a like in-person meetup, right?
It's funny because with Ken, I think was his name, the chili pepper. He was like, we met at the first VR Arcade conference. Or no, he said we met at the last year's, and I was like, but I don't recognize you because but I'm sure we met. So, absolutely. I think like
so yeah, I'm gonna try to look into something like that for next time.
And I know that like one of the downsides to using a 3D scan of you in VR is the uncanny valley, because it doesn't look exactly like you, right? And even if it did, the room is virtual and everybody else is virtual. I wonder if there's something we could do like in the virtual business card profile and just have your real picture there. Have your real picture as part of your badge. Yeah.
That would be valuable. I think, though, we could probably get a space that looks more realistic, and then the avatars won't be so out of place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, you also want it to run on the Quest.
Yeah.
Who, me?
The Quest.
Oh, it's I'm actually on a Vive, but my base stations are not set up properly, so I keep on.
Tracking.
You know what also happens? My internet is probably bad. But anyway, but yeah, I gotta fix this setup later.
I have an unrelated question. Anyone knows if there is a way to mirror the screen on my phone into VR?
Well, I think you should be able to. Like, I know you can do screen capture on your phone, so as long as you have that video feed, you could probably stream it from your computer and then get that into VR that way.
Yeah, exactly.
If you watch like any kind of esports, like on mobile games like Clash Royale or whatever, like they've got a setup for doing that. So if you plug your phone in, if you have iPhone, I think what's that program like?
I've seen YouTubers use it.
Player or whatever. Like, you can set that up, get a direct video feed, and I think Android also has a way to do it.
Yeah. A stream from your phone to the stream, and then here we can pull the stream and watch your stream. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if you can enter in a URL live with a Twitch stream. I think the Twitch stream has to be pre-programmed, but I don't know.
I have tried it live. Yeah. There is actually a world in VR chat that lets you do live stream, but only one that does it well. Yeah.
Also, I was
bedroom
talking
theater.
to one guy one time, and he had a theory to do like a Twitch stream that had a bunch of like quarters sectioned out. One of them is the color map, and the other one is like the depth map. And you can apply a shader to the Twitch stream object, so it like projects a 3D map if you're live streaming from another room. Like
wait, like 3D streaming?
Yeah, so
that's
basically
crazy.
One quarter, like one half of the Twitch stream is color, and the other half of the Twitch stream is a map based of depth.
Yeah.
And so the shader that you apply the Twitch stream to a texture of an object, and then the texture of the object has a shader that goes, oh, take the color section and apply that as color, take the depth section and apply that as a movement of the vertex.
Yeah.
And it will literally create a 3D stream.
That's crazy.
Cool.
I feel like that's where the future is heading. I would love to have technology like that to use as a consumer. Yeah.
But you could do that with live video too, because they've got cameras that have depth and color, right? So that'll be an interesting way to have a teleconference or something.
Oh, it's right here. I gotta show you this. This is amazing.
Oh, okay. Is this gonna make us sick or anything like that, or is it safe? Because I know some of these 360 worlds.
It's just a 3D video.
Okay. Cool. Do we want to? Yeah. Okay. I guess we're going in. All right. Let's go check it out. I'll see you guys there. Oh, Quest users. I should go back. I gotta go back. I don't think. I don't think Quest people will be able to join. Let me go back and ask them. I'm gonna go back. Hey, I'm back. I'm back. Hey, does this support Quest?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right. I didn't want to leave you here because I've seen that world before. So
what happened? What is that for?
So Wyatt wanted to. Sorry, I'm getting some water real quick.
All right.
Wyatt wanted to show everybody watching 360 video or even like a 3D capture in VR. And that particular VR chat world has a demo of that. So yeah, I think that's what they're going to see because they were talking about that earlier. 3D capture and 3D streaming. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's another thing we'll have to figure out is Quest support. But if we build our own platform, we can build in Quest support. VR chat, unfortunately, doesn't. I don't think they're able to spend as much effort on it as we hope.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
good to see you, Jeremy.
Yeah, it was good to see you again too. Yeah.
All right.
Hope to see you again at one of these meetups soon. Have a good rest of the evening. Thanks a lot for coming. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Likewise, thank you. Good to see you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. So here, Jeremy, you see how this vertex here starts.
Oh, I'm crashing.
And then zooms in really quickly.
Oh,
so
yes.
This large.
Yeah, so this is 3D capture.
So it has a depth and a color, and you can tell the camera was right about here or something like that.
Sure.
And it records. Oh, here's the Chinese one. And you can see how it's recording the 3D balls on the ground, and it's all a 3D model and stuff. So standing right here is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is cool. Oh,
yeah, it's like we're in Asia.
Pretty cool.
Mine sort of died, so I'm gonna exit the sphere here.
Yeah. All right, we can go back to that. I'm probably gonna head off though.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head out too. Yeah, it was nice seeing everybody. Thanks a lot for coming.
All right.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.